Welcome back to the Starside Invitational. I am DoA. With me is Yuuj as usual. I'll let that one sink in.
That one before.
Yeah, and Yuuj, I was like, why is my face kind of red in the webcam today? And I realized it's because it's not the webcam. It's just me. I am sunburned. I was outside skateboarding for the first time in like a long time because I've been inside for like a month and a half because of this. I was wearing a mask, don't worry, but I didn't wear sunscreen, which may have been the more important thing to wear today. And so because of that, I'm a little bit redder than usual. But hey, it's about that time of year anyway.
Yeah, the heat is really coming out here in both China and in the US. So starting to get warmer and it's nice.
You know what else is heating up right now, Yuuj?
The competition will
That's
be heating
right.
up.
The action in the Starside Invitational. Let's take a look at the overall stats. Here's where we're at so far after the last 4 rounds. 8 of these players have played all the games they're going to play in the group stages. That leaves Ine at 73 points right now. Hong Lian 69, Kurum 68, Becca at 63 hanging in there, and Shanwen Yu maybe 62. Maybe he'll be safe. We'll see. Godlike and Sehan Saren really on the bubble, though. It won't take a lot for players like Delicious Milk and Anya to knock them out of the top 8.
Yeah, right now we are looking at a pretty very likely balanced final of 4 North American players and 4 Chinese players. So that could very, very well change in the near future, depending on how performances go in the next game.
Yep, so we've got 4 more games to play. We're going to see the schedule in just a moment, or else we'll just see the players who are going to play. There we go. So it's going to be Anya, Delicious Milk, Kudye, Cronin, Kiyun, G2, Shendu rather, and Solus. And so these 8 players fighting for those last spots. Unfortunately, some of these players like Shi2X just will not be able to make it. It's pretty much impossible for them to get enough points to break into the top 8. But a lot of players gunning for those bottom spots. And you think about a player named Shendu, still in the top 8 right now, even though he has played 4 less games than everybody else in that top 8. Like, that tells you just how good Shendu is. Like, depending on how his results go today, he is by far like the breakout player, in my opinion, of this tournament and the player to watch from the Chinese scene.
Yeah, it's very likely, though, that if T2X has managed to be like godlike and actually win multiple games today, he still has the chance to break into the top 8. However, he does need to basically win every game, or at least 2 of these games.
It's certainly possible. I mean, I will say it's not impossible, I don't think.
You just have to play phenomenally well over these series to even have a chance.
Theoretically, he could get 74 points by the end of the night, like if he if he wins all 4 games. But again, we usually say for a good night for a player, it's usually about 20 something, between 20 and 25 points, I would say, is like a really good solid night for a player in this tournament. And if you add that to what he's got, that's still only about 55. And we were estimating that's where the cutoff was going to be for the top 8. I think now it's around 60, so that wouldn't quite make it. So he would have to have an exceptional day. But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
It definitely is going to be very, very close in deciding who makes it into the top 8 for the rest of the invitation into the finals. It is going to be very close, and these next few games are going to be very, very competitive. Players are going to be securing top 4 comps as they move forward into the series. They're not going to be, some are going to be going all in, saying at this point it's all or nothing. It's will be very, very telling of what is to come.
Yep, that's right. So I'm just looking forward to getting into the games. I'm honestly just such a big Shendu fanboy at this point. I just want to see what he plays today and watch him play extremely well, because he's played such a variety. I'm looking at what he's played over the last couple of days, and he's played like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different compositions out of his 8 games. Which is extremely impressive. And he's also gotten 3 first places. We talked about Godlike having 3 firsts be a lot. Shendu's already accomplished that in just 2 days. So who even knows, what we're going to see today? Like it's probably going to be pretty impressive. He did take an 8th yesterday. But then he also took a fifth and two firsts, so he made up for it for sure. So I'm
Yeah,
curious not only to watch him play just in general and look at his technique, but also to see what compositions he uses because he seems to really know how to play everything.
yeah, definitely Shandu is the one who's actually brought out a lot of these newer comps that people are seeing more often. He is one of those ones who's actually like I think he was the one who brought out the Vanguard Sork. Was that him?
He played Vanguard 6 Sorcerer yesterday. He did get a first with that. He also got a first with Chrono Kale, which is something that people have been struggling a bit, but he found a way to make it work. He was one of the first players to really start incorporating the Rebels into Brawler Blaster as well. So a lot to say. And here we are on board with Shendu as we start the first lobby of the last set of games of the night. And what's he going to grab? Shendu ending up with, where is he? I lost Shendu. He found the belt.
Bottom right, Giant's belt.
Okay. Grabbed a belt. So he may have not gotten his first choice there, but given the popularity and strength of Brawler Blaster right now, the belt isn't like the worst item to start off from the carousel anymore.
Yeah, not to mention he actually has it on a cybernetic, so if you know it does keep the opportunity of hey, I want to go to cybernetic, we can easily just leave it for now.
Definitely. And he's going to have no trouble no trouble handling the sights. Is what these things are called. CYTES. What are they? Who knows? They're sights. I kind of miss the minions, you know? I feel like for the next set, we got to bring it back to some sort of classic League of Legends environment, you know?
They've just gone away from being minions. They're now just like
They're space creatures now.
Bursters, you know.
Infiltrators, which is a little bit awkward because it's also the name of a synergy. Arc Raptors. Sounds like a name out of an RPG.
Yeah,
Kiyun's saying, is he saying me mech?
Well, yeah, he's calling the mech already.
I mean, he is one of our first and foremost mech infiltrator players. He pretty much has just played that. I actually neglected to write down his builds from yesterday, but let me just check here.
I'm not even gonna look and say the mech.
Yep, mech infiltrator, all 4 games. Yeah, I just looked it up right now.
Look at mech infiltrators.
Well, let me just put this in the document here. I got that was the sound of me Control C, Control Ving a bunch of times. Exactly. Done.
Milk has decided to move away from this, but especially because now we have the 2 mech players in the lobby. Likely they aren't going to compete against each other. Milk just needs to solidify some top 4s, and so he's not going to take that risk of me mech.
Well, Milk, developed a reputation as a mech player because of Giant Slayer series, but he's never been, a mech infiltrator one trick, despite what people might think from only watching recent tournaments. If you look at his ladder results and his ladder sort of like patterns, he's played a lot, and lately it's been more Dark Stars than anything. And he's just a very good, well-rounded player in general. So yeah, he's not a one trick, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's for sure. He definitely isn't a one trick, and he is a very solid player. He just finds the comp that he finds strongest and just brute forces and asserts his dominance and forces other people out of the comp.
Yeah. And it kind of feels like, and again, maybe it's just me, but it feels like set 3, it's easier to force comps than it used to be. But that might be because there's more variety in terms of strong comps in the meta than what I feel like we had in set 2. And so because of that, every game you can usually find a comp that's uncontested, or you have a fairly good chance of making it work, even though it is contested because of the reliance on 2 stars. It's kind of come back with the recent patch.
Well, I'm looking at Milk right here, and it looks he's gotten a very solid front line already. He hasn't even rolled, and he's managed to hit a solid front line.
Yeah.
With those
Does he level? That's what he's wondering right now. He's thinking about it, scouting the boards, and he levels. Okay. So at the last moment, putting that in there.
Just throw in some more Vanguards. Vanguards are great. Just put them in there.
Well, Mord will up the damage. That's the big thing. He doesn't have a ton of damage from the board right now, but Mordekaiser will help change that a little bit more once his ult turns on.
Yeah, he definitely has a very, very tanky team.
Yeah.
Able to keep the Fiora alive long enough to that where she's able to actually dish out the damage that everyone else isn't able to.
Yeah, picks up a couple of Caitlins, and it looks like Delicious Milk may be ready to start a little bit of a win streak, especially if he hits a Caitlin too. He doesn't. He finds a bunch of 2 costs, actually. That's kind of interesting. Some interesting choices for him. I'd say if you pick up anything here, it's maybe the Darius and the Blitz for the mid game, but he doesn't have the Graves, though. So the Darius isn't as tempting, and he doesn't have another brawler for the Blitzcrank, even though Blitzcrank can be good in isolation. The other thing that he's probably going to do is just sell as much as he can to get up to 10, right?
Yeah, so he has
now,
some options here. It's either buy a unit and pre-level. Yeah, okay, he bought a level and pre-level for 5. And that's likely what he's planning on doing. And so more or less just he's trying to get ready to keep that win streak up, go for the higher costs as soon as possible. And he's not going to fight for this Poppy. He's already gotten a 2-star Poppy, which is really good already.
Yeah, so now the reason people might be wondering why you would level like that, pre-level before the carousel, it's something that a lot of players have been doing lately, because when you come out of carousel, it just gives you that little bit better chance to find a higher tier unit earlier than your opponent. So that's just kind of those little edges that people have been using in the early game to sustain their HP and sustain the win streaks.
Milk was barely able to win that fight. Pretty luckily having the Caitlyn just not be able to finish off Poppy before ulting.
Mm-hmm. Shendu makes a beeline right for that Negatron cloak. Interesting. Have to see what he is building. Let's see. Meanwhile, Delicious Milk has to wait a long time, ends up grabbing the Darius with the bow. So the bow, I'm trying to remember what items he's got. He does have a belt, so Zizrat Portal is an option. A couple other items available as well. We're going to move over and see what Anya is up to as well. And again, bow's just a good item for Dark Stars. You can make a Ruinous Hurricane out of it. And pretty much just make a Ruinous Hurricane out of it. Yeah, that's what you want to do. That's your Dark Star item.
Yeah, he's looking at. He's definitely. It's really hard to. I think he's going a Brawler Blaster comp. He does. Wow, that's an early kill.
Yeah, 3 Blade Masters.
He's more thinking about it a little bit more. He's like,
And this is exactly what I'm talking about. This is why you pre-level before carousel, so that when you come out of the carousel, you're level 5 and you have that 5% chance to find a 4 cost. And sometimes you high roll like Anya did and find that Kale that even without any items, the Kale 1 can definitely carry you through some of these early game rounds.
Yeah, being able to get the Blade Master synergies like that really early on her just enables so much. Just look at that damage shredding through everything.
Yeah, she's going to be basically wrecking everybody. So great start now for Anya.
T2X looking for that eco.
Yep.
I'm probably looking to do a reroll comp.
Yeah, it might be possible. T2X, he has been playing in this tournament a lot of different stuff, right? Just hasn't found great results with it. Yesterday was Mech Infiltrator, Blaster Brawler, Candyland Sorcerer, and then he tried some kind of 4 Brawler, Mana Reaver, Blaster, Jinx, Aurelia carry as a really wild build. It did get him 4th, but it didn't really fit into anything in the current meta.
Yeah, he's been trying a lot of different things, and it just hasn't really worked out for him.
Yeah, 0 synergies right now for him as he's just relying on strong stuff.
He does look like he kind of wants to go down the Brawler Blaster route.
Yep.
Especially the Giant build.
Wow, gets the win. Crowan taking some damage. Crowan's been a little bit up and down this tournament as well. So Crowan from Cloud9 did get 2 first places yesterday, but also paired it with 2 7th places. So the points were good, but the results were very up and down. Played a mix of Brawler Blasters. That's what he got his 2 first with. So I wonder if we're going to see him kind of continue that. Meanwhile, G2X setting up for the Terror Boosters. But like you said, I agree with you. I think Brawler Blaster is probably the direction that he's going to go. At least that's what he seems to want to go right now.
Brawler Blasters overall just seems to be a really consistent comp for getting top 4.
Yeah.
However, to take it to the next level is fairly difficult most of the time.
Certainly is. There's 3 gold for the Shen, and he can go up to 40 if he wants to. Yeah, I like that. So gonna have a really strong economy coming into 3-1 now.
40 gold. 49. Levels up.
Yep, stays above 40. Pretty good. I usually see that level 5 around now, and then he might even decide to go for like a fast level 6, like 3-2 or something.
I don't know about. I don't know if he's trying to go fast level 6. He's just trying to build his strongest board right now. He's keeping a large, like a really good eco, so that he can just move up pretty easily, hit those units he wants. The problem is he is looking at Brawler Blaster,
Mm-hmm.
possibly, but he does not have Malphite, which becomes really, really hard to find later. If you
Does get
level up.
harder and harder. That is true. But the fact that his synergies are a little bit awkward right now makes me wonder if he's going to try to swap things up a little bit. We'll see. This is always one of those tough decision points in a game where, like, what do you value more, HP or economy? And
Yep.
he's kind of on the verge of starting to be maybe a little bit worried about his HP at this point in the game. Not super panicky yet, but you're starting to get mild concern, right?
Yeah, definitely. If you looked over at Crowan's board, like briefly, he just hit the 3-star Jarvan, and he is running Zaya Pikachu build. So he is going to have a lot of lightning very soon.
Oh yeah. All right. Meanwhile, Solus looking like he might actually go for a mana battery Sona here, putting that in very early too.
He does have 5 poppies, so it's
Yeah.
fairly solid.
Yeah, you can hyper roll this to a certain extent. He's also got 5 Zoes as well, and it seems strong. Getting a Chalice early and a Sona early kind of enables that. All right, so there's an Ashe. So I wonder if maybe Celestial and Sniper is the shift for G2X to sort of stabilize a little bit here. We'll find out because he's got the opportunity to put that in.
Yeah, he's really thinking about what he wants to do.
Yeah. Let's check with Solus though to see how this is going. Running into checking out a protector comp over on the other side. But again, yeah, going for the mana printer, mana battery Sona. We've seen it a lot lately. And the combination of healing and just giving mana to the other sorcerers is kind of like a way to sort of cheat Star Guardians, essentially.
It's very useful, definitely, if you're able to get it that early. Just getting that 2-star Sona really early with a Chalice, like, you're not normally going to get that quickly, and so just being able to you generate so much mana that it doesn't really matter about the Star Guardians. You just need Sorks in there.
Right. And so the funny thing is, if you look at his items, the rest of his items don't really scream that build. So he still has the opportunity to pivot, but those items could just go on his tanks as well. Because if you're running 6 sorcerers, you don't honestly need a lot of items on your sorcerers because they're going to be boosted so much from the synergy damage anyway. Yeah, grabbing that Wukong right away is a great choice. He can put like, I guess he probably doesn't want to use another cloak on it or anything like that. But just simply having the Wukong, he's just, like you mentioned a moment ago, he's just finding a lot of the important pieces early.
Yeah, so I think what he'll probably want to do is he's going to put the Wukong in, and he's going to hold it with the cloak until he gets a tier and another Wukong. Then he can swap them out.
Wukong goes in there right away. You want that chrono buff as well, which is what Wukong gives you.
Doesn't necessarily want the cloak to be on the Wukong, but it's always good to have it temporarily there.
Yeah.
So for the third carousel, people tend to look at the 4-cost units that they want and just take them until to finish up their comp, and then swap it out when you actually get the actual unit that you need.
Yep, exactly. So let's see how well he does against the early Kale. The Runins is interesting on the Kale. Usually not an item you see on her, but it does pop up the attack speed a little bit more at least. Wukong, though, getting in there, messing everything up. But the lines have been broken, and the mana battery might be running on empty here pretty soon.
I mean, Wukong got to ult 2 times in a fight, and that's pretty good in my book.
It is, but there's no damage here. That's the problem. Are you kidding me? This
Poppy is
can't
trying.
possibly win this round. No, I refuse to believe. Yeah,
Poppy tried so hard.
that was closer than I felt comfortable with, but it did get beaten, thankfully.
Poppy just working away with her hammer.
Yep.
Oh, Shendu running the exact same comp as Solus. Not as Shona, not quite there yet, but you know.
Oh, but double the chalices.
2 chalices.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Meanwhile, back to Solus, wondering, what am I doing with my life? Gonna have to move things into the corner a little bit more here. So the next step is 4 sorcerers, basically. That's what you're going to be leveling for at this point. Oh, Shendu has the Vel'Koz as well. This is definitely one of those he can't keep getting away with it moments, because Shendu could actually just simply go Star Guardians here, which might be his plan, which is basically you don't give yourself the 6 Star Guardian buff until I believe it's 8. And then you have Mystic as well. So rather than have your second Mystic come in at level 8, you have your 6th Star Guardian come in at level 8 instead. Because you don't really need the Star Guardian buff if Sona is giving you the mana like that. Yeah, but you use like Nico, Poppy as your front lines.
I'm just enjoying watching this because they're holding hands together. This is the first time you've actually seen this comp being contested by multiple people in the lobby. Usually it's only one person running this.
Yeah.
And you get to watch them hold hands and go for 7th and 8th.
Yep. I suppose there's slight variations in that Shendu is focusing more on the Star Guardians themselves, whereas Solus will pretty much take any sorcerers to make this work. There's a Vel'Koz. You definitely want to buy that. Oh, what? He doesn't buy the Vel'Koz? Really?
I think he's more focused on hitting his 1 cost right now.
I mean, yeah, I guess he's focusing on hyper rolling, but I understand that. All right. But why would you keep the Soraka and not buy the Vel'Koz? That's what kind of blows my mind a little bit here. Because you don't need the Soraka at all for this build.
Trap Claw.
Maybe at like level... Nope, maybe you go for Soraka with the extra one instead of 3 sorcerers, but I don't know.
I'm surprised he went for Quicksilver instead of Trap Claw, since Trap Claw is useful in the sense that you can also save the I guess he does have another cloak, so it doesn't really matter.
I mean, he has one on Wukong, I suppose, but yeah, just building items on the TF as well seems like something that maybe is less advisable as time goes on. Close to the Poppy 3, though. If he hits a Poppy 3, you can definitely make this work. There's a Zoe 3. Okay, that's good.
He didn't put anything on his Poppy. Instead, he like put it on other things.
Yeah, he just hasn't found the items yet. He can still put a Titans on the Poppy. I think that wouldn't be bad. Now he's starting to pick up a couple more sorcerers. Oh, no. The Poppy 3, though. Where is it? No Poppy 3. So he is going for Mystic and the Soraka instead of going up to the 4 sorcerers.
Oh, crawling with his Pikachu build.
Yep. And Xayah 3 is going to be doing a lot of damage, although the static shiv damage actually gets healed pretty nicely. So this... Okay, it looks like it's going to grind him down eventually. I was wondering how much of the shiv damage would get absorbed by the healing, and it looks like a lot of it was. Oh, he puts a belt on him. Yeah, I think that was a nice little trick at the end to keep him alive. He may not have won that round if he hadn't done that.
You saw all the dodges.
Yeah.
I think, honestly, Solus should just try to naturally hit this Poppy right now instead of trying to roll it down until he's almost dead, since he does need the eco. If he tries to keep rolling down for the Poppy, he's likely going to just lose, even if he does have the Poppy, because he can't make it into the later rounds.
Yeah. So my question is, does Mystic and the healing from the Soraka give you a bigger power spike than going to Force Sorcerer. Because we're seeing it done two different ways right now. Shendu is going the Force Sorcerer route, and Solus is going the 2 Mystic route for more healing. And I honestly don't know which one is better. So I'm really curious to see how this performs.
I think the Mystic route is better if you have actually the ability to hit your super tanky Poppy.
Sure.
Because once you hit your super tanky Poppy, then you won't die. But Solus hasn't been able to hit it. So that's the problem.
I think if you have the Soraka, that's the only time you can really go it. And I agree with what you're saying too. I think the argument for Force Sorcerer is that you don't need the sustain if you're just killing everything. So if you have if you have a Vel'Koz in there and a Lux in there, you have a lot of area of effect damage, and you have a good amount of crowd control as well.
Yeah.
So I wonder. Like I said, I think it's probably ending up. It's probably going to be situational at the end of the day, which is better for you in your lobby and your board based on what you found. But over time, I think we're going to see one of these two directions sort of win out as a standard. Is that a Vel'Koz 2 already? It is. Wow. All right. Well, then you definitely go for Sork. Yeah. And you probably don't put the Xerath in yet, because you want to keep the Chrono, and the TF would be the thing you would take out.
Yeah, so I think he's trying to go for I can't tell if he's planning on going 6 Sork or just sitting here and waiting for maybe throwing in some more Star Guardians.
I think he's going to go 6 Sork. I think that's the stronger version of this build. That said, the items on Wukong would also work really, really well on Poppy. Having a GA on a not Poppy, having a Guardian Angel on a Nico too is what I'm saying. Guarantees her 2 ultimates per fight. Per fight, I'm losing the ability to speak English. It's been 3 days, and getting the big AOE stun has always been good for Star Guardians. So I wonder if, and we have seen people run just more or less standard Star Guardians with Sona being the mana battery as well. There's another Wukong. I think his decision could be related to whichever one he hits first, a Wukong 2 or a Nico 2. I suspect that the Vanguard version of this is a bit stronger in the meta, but again, it goes back to the fact that we just have such a small sample size right now, and there's so much experimentation being done that I think the best thing we can do is just kind of watch and like really think about the results and what the alternatives could have given him.
Yeah, you've noticed that Shendu has gone for the non-reroll style, whereas Solus went for the reroll style.
Yeah, trying to find those 3 costs, and ultimately we're seeing from what Shendu is doing that if you do find the 4 sorcerers, you don't need the 3 stars. You don't necessarily need the 3-star Poppy. I think it's certainly a stronger version of the comp if you have the 3 stars, but especially I think finding 2 chalices early kind of unlocked the ability for him to just ignore the rerolls. I wonder if he would have rerolled if he didn't find 2 chalices.
Yeah, definitely for sure. He's going to hold on to these poppies regardless. He gets them naturally. Any poppy he finds will help take Solus down, and it will help him. So,
well, there's enough, and there's enough poppies for 2 people to get Poppy 3 as well. So he'll probably find it eventually anyway. But with Solus a little bit lower in HP, like you just said, yeah, if he dies, then he definitely have a lot of poppies to find. But the percentage to find those poppies is going to get lower and lower. So it's just something you're going to pick up as you go along. Finds a Nico. Okay.
The rest of the comp, since they're overlapping on units.
Yeah. Oh, there's another ZZ Rot on. Well, actually, I think Morella Namicon on Wukong is pretty sick. So
yeah, it's just as good.
Goes to level 8. Now he can put in another sorcerer here. Yep, goes up to 5 sorcerers. The alternative build you can do here is you can put in a Soraka temporarily again, and then have 2 Mystic. Looks like he might have been making that choice. As we shifted over to see what Crone is up to. Crone, as we mentioned, going for that the Pikachu build, the Xayah carry with the Jarvan as well, and doing some interesting additions. Sniper, Celestial, probably going to replace one of those snipers with a Force Celestial at some point. Ideally, okay, it looks like he's going to win this round. So I think ideally what you would want to do is take out. Oh no, he's not. Wow, the GA on Jinx. I didn't see it, and comes back and wins it. Huh. All right, I like this. I think what he's really looking for is a Kassadin, because if he found a Kassadin, he'd be able to theoretically do 4 Celestial and Mana Reaver.
Yeah, Mana Reaver seems pretty important for him as well. The problem is he's got this Darius in there just for that purpose at the moment, and not being able to hit that cast and has slowed down this comp substantially.
Yeah, it has. A little bit bad luck not hitting the Kassadin. Not sure if he found one earlier and just kind of passed it by. Going up against Solus now. See how this comp goes. Solus has found a second Chalice. Really fast attacking Nico too. But the QSS prevents Xayah from getting stunned by the Nico ultimate, actually. Now, finally, the QSS runs out. It's only 10 seconds now in the new patch, so that could make a difference. In fact, it looks like it will.
Not really doing anything against a double Chalice Sona, just because she gets hit and then heals as soon as that it goes down.
Yeah.
And so it just kind of cancels out the healing, kind of just cancels out the Shiv.
Now, one of the big stories of that fight as well was that he had the rapid fire cannon on the Zoe all the way in the back line. So she was getting it. She was attacking very quickly, which was building mana, and then also getting mana from Sona. So that was a lot of stuns getting thrown out by that Zoe. And you can see as soon as that QSS turned off at 10 seconds into the fight, that Xayah started to be not quite able to throw the damage in like you'd want to.
Yeah, exactly. This doesn't work out, but this Huya actually having a pretty good items on his Aurelia here, so that should help him a lot.
Yeah, for sure. Aurelia getting in there. Oh, the disarm. Pretty big. The Kassadin. That's got to hurt for Crone to see the Kassadin 2 on the other side. That's really a unit he needs to find, it looks like.
Yeah, Crone getting to the point where he likely needs to level up or roll down after this carousel. Everything is really, really close right now. Soul is down to 1 HP. Everyone else having about 2 or 3 more lives left.
Right. Full item carousel now. See what delicious milk grabs. Thinking about it, doesn't look like anything is quite what he wants. He's been running a lot of Darkstar, so I wonder if that's what he's got over there. Not sure yet. Nobody taking the Infiltrator Lulu. Sad times.
Not really. Nobody really needs Infiltrator right now.
Hey man, there's an Aurelia out there somewhere that would love an Infiltrator spat. Bramble Vest definitely better though. Would imagine that Bramble Vest just gets dropped on the Jarvan. We'll see. I don't know this build super well yet because it is pretty new. Shen 2 seems like a good pickup.
He just can't find that Kassadin.
Yeah, that's really bizarre. 35% chance to find a 3 cost, and I don't think that many people are contesting it. Kassadin is like a really popular unit right now, but still. Oh, those are some great mech items.
3-star Shaco and Kha'Zix.
Yeah, and Kaisa. That is scary. But Jarvan, oh my gosh, can Jarvan do it? He's got the shield. No, he's not going to do it.
He's trying.
No, it's impossible. Z0 minion, go! 3,000 HP.
I actually don't know who wins this.
I mean, I think Annie gets a shield, and that might push it over the edge, so... Oh my gosh. The minion. The minion too strong. He did it. That's easier out portal, man. That's one of the best items now that 3 costs are a big part of the game.
Yeah, it's definitely been a slight buff to Zero Portal.
So the good news is that he found 4 Celestial. The bad news is that he still doesn't have he still doesn't have Mana Reaver because he had to put in a Lulu instead. Normally Lulu's great, but not having Mana Reaver is a little bit awkward here. It's no doubt though his comp is strong now. Like that was a power spike to hit that 4 Celestial. And if Lulu gets her ult off, that's big. Shendu deciding to add the Poppy in. Looks like he is he going 6 Star Guardians? I don't Maybe not. Hard to see.
Lulu got her ult off, but just not on the right targets.
Yeah, Lulu 1 doesn't get to hit enough people with that. Man, the sustain, the healing.
Wow, that arrow. Oh, that arrow was so close to saving him from allowing him to actually win that fight.
Vel'Koz is like pocket healed by that Sona.
Yep.
Yeah, Huya picks up the Aurelia too. That's going to be a nice power spike for him. Look at how close this lobby is, though. The difference between 3rd and 7th is like 1 fight.
Yeah, Solus just dropped out, but he's also everyone's just dropping out really, really quickly. So we'll see what happens.
Right, and if I recall, Solus was also playing a type of Vanguard Sorcerer build, or was that Kyun?
Yes, it was a Vanguard source.
It was
Kyun definitely playing Mech Infiltrator. So
right. So Solus put the emphasis on Mystic earlier, and remember when? There's a Cassidon. Remember when I said that I didn't think that the Mystic version was as strong? Well, I think he may have lost a little bit too much HP because he didn't have the stopping power that 4 sorcerers gives you in that early mid game.
Yeah, definitely
looking like you might have a good result here. And Rebels time. Anya with the Rebels. Pretty good Jinx items, pretty good Aurelian Soul items. Finds the Gangplank. So who gets the QSS now? Maybe GP?
Maybe GP. Probably GP.
You generally want to put items on GP or Misfortune at this point in the game. Bloodthirster for Yi just makes him more annoying.
I definitely think that it's just to make sure GP ults, because a lot of the time he gets CC'd and doesn't ult.
Right. Yep, so either a Guardian Angel or a QSS generally ensures that for you. But man, Crowan just wrecking that build. Just way too much damage out of the 3 stars.
Yeah, Anya just kind of he's missing a couple units that will make really make his comp come online and a lot stronger. But he's not able to hit it.
Well, he doesn't have 3 Blade Masters anymore now that he took out his Kale. And just a lot of these units still being 1 star. So I wonder if it was a more of a last minute pivot actually for Anya that caused him to be in the situation where he's got maybe a few more 1 stars than you would want to have. Admittedly, they're on less important units, but still.
And he also moved his units a little slow here, so it's very likely that he's just gonna die here.
Well, Lulu 2 ult might make a big difference. Does get a big one off.
And
unfortunately, that mech is way too strong. Anya looks like he's going to exit in, I believe, 6. Delicious Milk out right before him. Now on board with Kyun. 6-star Guardian looks like the build for Shendu there. Oh, and she too found the stronger Rebel build. That was part of the problem for Anya.
Yeah, with the stronger Rebel build, what are you going to do? He's got all the Rebels. But you look at Kyun, he's actually got 5 3-stars, so pretty strong.
Pretty high roll mech infiltrator comp, but uncontested, so that does help. Doesn't have the golden mech yet, doesn't have the demo spat, but he does have the Ziggs in to give the mech demolitionist anyway.
Should be able to win this round, I think. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Handily, I would say.
Depends on what this Aurelia does.
Okay. Maybe.
The demo actually enabling him to win.
Hooray, demolitionist. Knocks Crowan is out as well. Crowan and Shendu and Huya all out. And we're down to 2. So many people died that last round. Whoa. All right. Kyun looks really strong. I like picking up the Trap Claw as well. You can toss an Infiltrator with Trap Claw on the back lines and cause some havoc. So she too. He has the stronger Rebel build. Did find the Aurelian Soul 2 right there.
I think he wants to put this on the Shaco. There's no one else that you can really put it on.
Yep, I would agree.
I don't know, basing on this, because Aurelian Soul, those rolls on the Aurelian Soul items, absolutely useless.
I guess Aurelian Soul will take whatever he can get, Aurelian Soul just kind of like trolls around and shoots things,
Yeah, but you can't stun him, so, it's like singed.
Oh,
So
he
Trap Claws
stopped though.
doesn't do anything against it.
Yep.
I think
Okay,
Hyun
Tim.
will win this fight.
Jinx, can she carry? The GA gets popped early, and G2X takes a lot of damage. I think Kyun's in a pretty good spot to possibly win this one. There's a Fizz. I don't think Fizz 3 is a possibility. Unless he, like, super high rolls. I mean, so here's a problem that G2X runs into right now, is that you're running this sort of Rebel build, but you can't group things up. And he's not running 6 Rebels. It's important to note that he's got just a bunch of different synergies in here. It's a Brawler Blaster Rebel build, actually. So my bad. This is actually Brawler Blasters. But the Aurelion Soul 2 giving the Rebel buff to Jinx.
Have you noticed he's putting all his ranged units in the front because the infiltrators will jump all the way to the back,
Right.
and so that way his blasters can actually stay alive the longer.
Yep.
Longer actually.
No healing items for Jinx means that she takes damage that cannot be healed back up again. It was better items on the Aurelion Soul that game, and I mean, I just don't know if there's any way that Kyun can lose this. Not the greatest item, but you know.
This time it has a Zeke's and Locket, even though it's a PvE round.
Yeah. All right, so here's the thing. I suppose if you're Kyun right now, you go to the next level and you try to find excuse me, try to find a Kale probably.
He's definitely
find Kale.
Hurricane here on Shaco.
Yeah, sure.
Well, he did find the Kale.
He did. Wow, yeah. Well, there you go. Gangplank instead of Ziggs, easy choice there.
He's not touching those Jinxes.
Yep.
Okay, never mind. He said he's no more gold. Now I can sell.
Yep. Holds the Jinxes to try to prevent the Jinx 3 from being grabbed. No, he didn't. He sold them. Never mind.
Yeah, he sold them after he used all his gold.
Yeah. Did he not level to 8?
No, he leveled to 8.
Did he?
Dropped
okay, I was gonna say.
He dropped in the Lux.
Oh, okay. Oh, so he went for the Sorcerer instead. Interesting. All right. I suppose it just powers up everything.
Yeah.
Fair enough. That mech, though, just insanely good mech items. MF gets a full channel ultimate off. Oh, they're coming. They're coming for that first place. Oh, and Kyun gets it. So Kyun takes game number 1 of set number 2. And there you go. Mech Infiltrator, uncontested. 5 3 stars on the board. Pretty strong.
Yeah, uncontested mech. A lot you can do with it. Like you just hit all your units, all your items. You know, don't even have to worry about it.
Yeah, I mean the big thing was getting Demolitionist, even though he didn't get the Demolitionist spatula. Let's take the results. A look at the results after the first round. So Shendu, after 1 game, is already over 60 points in total right now. Kyun, though, with the big win, and he needs a ton of first places to move up in the standings and try to secure himself a final lobby seat, essentially. G2X, so the big win as well. Huya, so honestly, a lot of the lower points players in this lobby making some moves.
Yeah, definitely very good for them right now. They really need those points if they even want to contest.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Solus coming out with last place there, it will put him at the bottom, making it very difficult for him to contest unless he's able to pull out some top place finishes from now on.
Yeah. So you can see Kyun just 1 point away from potentially knocking out Sehan Seren at 52 points. All he needs to do to break into the top 8, Kyun, is to just get 7th in the next game for 2 points. So he's going to need a lot more than that to keep that top 8 spot for sure. But it's looking almost certain that Sehan Seren is moving out, and Godlike will be soon to follow. And Shanwen Yu is even in a little bit of danger. And if we go even farther, possibly even Becca. So we'll see. I feel like right now, Ine and Honglian and Shendu are the only real safe ones as far as making that top 8. Kurumbo, I suppose.
Those three are the safest in this situation. There's almost no way that Sundu does not make the top 8 unless multiple people from this current lobby is able to overtake him. So as long as he places higher than the people who could potentially beat him, he'll be perfectly fine.
Yeah. So really interesting first game. We definitely see that if Mech Infiltrator is uncontested and it's high rolled, it's still a very strong build, obviously. It's just harder to win streak with it, I think, early in the game. And if anyone contests you, then you're just not going to win.
Yeah, I think that's very similar to the way that Slash Bros was last patch. It was if you're contested and you can't hit that 3-star, you're done for. But if you hit it, you win. So in this sense, I think if you have the right items and you do well with a Mech Infiltrator, you will be able to pull out a win in the end, as long as you are not contested. Otherwise, it just becomes very, very hard to even do anything with it in this patch.
Right. So my thing going into next game is I want to see a special galaxy. I want to see something other than normal. We've had 3 normal games in a row now tonight, and I want to see something interesting. So give me some sort of special galaxy.
I want to see Treasure Trove.
Treasure Trove would be awesome.
Galaxy to watch. Just gold everywhere, items everywhere.
Yep.
It's great. It's just
rerolls everywhere. Like right now, Treasure Trove and Trade Sector are really the 2 galaxies that hyper enable the hyper rolling, you know?
Yeah, and it really lets you see which players are, understand power spikes, how to build towards a strong late game.
Right.
Because it's all about your late game comp and hitting those power spikes along the way. You have so much extra gold to work with that, it gives you that bigger window. More people will hit that late game power spike.
Mm-hmm. The other part of it as well is you need that sort of ability to adapt a little bit differently and play comps, add in little side synergies that you wouldn't normally in that type of composition. Same with the super dense galaxy, the galaxy where you get the free force of nature. It really tests your ability to sort of like adapt into things you wouldn't normally play. Although those strategies are starting to get kind of like standardized as well, as far as like what are the extra side synergies you add in.
Yeah, definitely. The super dense galaxy though it's very punishing to not level up to 5 early, and so people tend to have some issues with that. And I think that's the problem with the super dense galaxy, is it restricts a play style rather than making it more favorable for another play style.
Yeah, it definitely is a little bit harder to hyper roll, but hey, a lot of people have a problem with the rerolls and the hyper rolls. So maybe that's not that bad. There's a galaxy where they can be happier, I suppose. And they are changing it too. Like on the PvE, I believe the force of nature comes in at 3-1 no matter what. So you don't need to necessarily push to 5 just to stay competitive, which I think is a good change. And hey, there you go. All right. I mean, I asked for a special galaxy, but Lilac with an all tiers start. All right, this is
you can see everyone looking at that Kale except for Kiyun. He says, "Me mech, perfect fizz. I got it."
Yep, that is the danger there. Is you get the mech online really really fast. Obviously, a tier on the mech is not going to be the best item, but it is something. I think the other thing that kind of strikes me is suddenly with the Vanguard Sorcerer build that's coming up, Wukong is a very high priority on the carousel now.
Yeah, it's like I've said before with the fizz. If you can't find a fizz, you leave that fizz in. Once you find a fizz, that fizz goes out, and you can get the tier.
Right.
But this also enables your mech to come out potentially in 2-1.
Yeah, pretty much. Which would be crazy. I mean, it got nerfed, but still, you're never going to nerf it that much. That a 2-1 mech is not going to do it. I like the idea of picking up a Malphite 2 here, just for some meat on the board. I mean, why not? Again, you don't lose any money by selling it later.
Yeah, I definitely think it's going to be. I think Kiyun is in a very good position for a mech comp, and with just this galaxy really helps me mech players a ton.
Very true. Yep, helps that. Helps Kale players, helps Aurelia players. And now, I think it actually helps Vanguard Sorcerer players as well, because Wukong is such a big power spike with the Chrono that he gives you. Chrono and Vanguard. Because suddenly, like, Wukong, Poppy, and 2 sorcerers and like Wukong, Poppy, TF, and another sorcerer is like a really strong board.
Definitely would agree.
Red buff option, but Kyun only plays mech, so probably not going to go for it.
Still looking at it and see what items he gets.
Yeah.
Just gold.
Even Kyun is not above selling the Fizz early on to get a better econ, you know? And honestly, like, more often than not, you see players selling their forecasts no matter what. Especially, I would say, now that the reroll 1 costs are so strong in the meta, there's more of a case than ever for selling your forecast. And he actually didn't sell it. I missed it. It died in the fight, and I forgot about that. But I think there is my point stands that I think there is more of a reason to sell those forecasts now than there was before.
I think it's better to just in general to hold on to it. I think unless you really didn't get one of those units that you wanted, then you just sell it for eco.
If it's like a Cho'Gath with a Negatron cloak, you probably just want to sell it.
Not necessarily. Cho'Gath, you can hold because it mostly is the ability to give you a really early beefy brawler frontline.
Yeah. 4 brawlers really though.
Like a Soraka. What are you gonna do with a Soraka?
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
Soraka is the ultimate 4 gold Lilac Galaxy pickup.
Yeah, it's just I got Soraka because I was slow and didn't get anything I wanted, so I guess I'm just gonna sell it. Hard eco.
Now, Shendu has a Vel'Koz with a tier, which is perfect for what Shendu wants to do. Shendu also has mech infiltrator stuff early on. Now, I don't know if he's going to play it. He might just be making it slightly harder for Kyun to pick up those champions early, but that is interesting to see on the board.
He definitely wants to keep the Kha'Zix, maybe, because he can temporarily put in the
Yeah.
he can temporarily put in Void.
That is true. If he finds a Cho'Gath, he can activate Void. And I've been saying for a while that I think, for a while, is in the last 2 days, that I think this is a meta where Void Brawler could come back a little bit, because now that Sorcerers and like super tanky Jarvan, super tanky Poppy are on the meta, having a comp that does an enormous amount of true damage and just blows up the front line, also stuff like Rebels that's really grouped together, very vulnerable to it. So I've got a feeling Brawler Blaster may actually make Brawler Void rather may actually make a little bit of a comeback in the meta.
Yeah, I think it could make a comeback, especially with people stacking Poppy like this. It just blows up Poppy.
Yeah, anything really tanky like that, mech included. So for now, Shendu just going with the 2 sorcerers again, just because Vel'Koz is strong. I'm sure he wants to find a Chrono as fast as he can.
That Fizz actually being able to cast his fish very quickly and instantly interrupting the Vel'Koz.
Yeah, Fizz is always going to have that little edge early on with the enormous amount of crowd control he does. So 2 tiers on the carousel. So Shendu could pick up something like that. It's thinking about it right now. Could decide to go for something tanky as well. I think just the opportunity to get a Seraphs on your Vel'Koz at 3-1 is hard to ignore, right? It's very tempting.
Yeah, you do kind of want it on your Vel'Koz. It already has a tier on it. You might as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Although ideally, if you can get a Sona, if having a mana printer Sona is for your Vel'Koz is technically better than actually having the items on your Vel'Koz.
Uh-huh. So, my question really is, I believe he had 2 Vanguards on his bench. Yeah, he has a Mordekaiser and the Leona. So when will he move those in? Because 2 Vanguard is definitely going to be better than the 2 Malphites. And the only answer is that he was considering selling them, possibly, to make some sort of econ. He's at 33. And I believe if he sold everything, he'd be able to hit 40.
Yeah, I mean, he's just focusing largely on econ. I think. Hold on, that's 6 gold. If he wins, yeah,
Yeah.
he might
Uh,
even sell one of the Kazakhs.
right.
If
So that's 7 gold on the bench. And the Vanguards would definitely be a stronger front line. But honestly, carousel priority was pretty important there as well. Yeah, now he's going to sell. And I don't think he's too concerned about getting his build really kind of online until after Terror Bursters, after at 3-1.
yeah, he's more focused. He's hard. He's been more or less hard ecoing, and at this point, he has 50 gold, 51 gold before Terror Bursters, which normally doesn't happen unless you're kind of open forwarding at that point.
You know, the
It's
other alternative is that he could, yeah, he could actually hyper roll at 3-1 and try to find some 3 costs.
could possibly.
Yep. Because he will not be 5. If he doesn't level at all, he will still be at 4. And so he'll have a really good chance of finding at least one of the 4 3 costs that you want, or 3 3 costs now.
Yeah, he does have like he will have around 70 gold at that point, and so
Yep.
if he gets more gold, he doesn't
Oh.
want. He doesn't want to win this
Dodge.
round. Okay,
Zaya sidestepping the laser there.
that was actually really good for Sundu because he doesn't want to win that round just for the gold gain. He gets more gold for losing that round, actually,
Yeah.
especially moving on because of you get the streak.
Thank you, Base Velkos. So he actually does go to 5 because he's a little bit unsure about beating the Terror Bursters, which I agree. I think he did need to be a little bit worried if his only board was TF Velkos and 2 Malphites. It does reduce the chance he has of finding 5 costs, but at the same time, this build loves to 3-star Ari, and so you put yourself in a better position to find that Ari, and a better position, arguably, to find that Sona. So where the 2 costs are starting to become a higher priority for this build than the 1 costs are, or at least equal priority, I think rolling down at 5 is fine as well. But I have to imagine we're going to see some sort of hyper roll here. All
I
right,
don't know.
here we go. Time to roll, right?
I'm looking at it. It doesn't seem like he wants to roll.
Wow, really? Puts in Chrono.
He's pushing for a late game comp as quickly as possible.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose the logic there would be that a lot of your better sorcerers are a higher level. He can find a Zereth, he can find a Vel'Koz 2, he can find a Wukong sooner. That's really interesting. So ignoring the hyper rolling altogether and saying, you know what, I want to get my higher tier synergies on. I want to get the Wukong and some other Vanguard basically, and then push for a Vel'Koz 2 because I've already got the Seraphs on it. Cool.
Interesting.
Shendu is brave.
Trying to get some just higher level sorks out. Try to outscale everyone just by being higher level. He has been keeping his Kazakhs, so it seems like he's planning on going Void.
Yeah, I wonder if you're right. I wonder if Void is going to be the key. And he's been keeping the Malphites. So I've been talking about it the whole time, but maybe I didn't realize what I was seeing right in front of me was that Shendu might actually be going Void Brawler. Very cool. I'll have to check back on with him later. Right now, checking out what Crowan's up to. Crowan going mech. Oh no, he's taking on one of the me mech only players in Kyun. He's so brave. And he's winning with this early Kale. So Chrono Blade Master, no, he's not going mech. What am I talking about? I was looking at the other synergies. He was clicked on, it said Chrome, but he was clicked on the other guy. All right, give me a break. It's like 11.
That's fine. That's fine. It was in level 2 Kale though, and that's a big deal. Having hit a level 2 Kale at
Yeah.
3-3, that's really strong. And it's going to carry him for a very, very long time.
Right. And he has liked to play that Chrono Kale throughout the tournament. He's got a couple games on it already.
You see G2X, he's just been holding onto that Aurelia since the beginning.
Yeah. Do you realize that after tonight, we will have casted 18 hours of Teamfight Tactics in 3 days?
It's not going to be all.
I know, and we still got another day. I mean, it's only going to be 4 lobbies tomorrow, but still, I think I think it's going to be hard for anyone to beat the record of like massive amounts of TFT casted in one day that we are setting right now.
I think that's fine. I
Oh
think
yeah, this has been great. Honestly, like this has been as someone right now who I've got 2 accounts in Diamond and I really want to get to Masters next week. Like just watching these games and analyzing them has been like the best education you could possibly hope for in order to just like crush the ladder next week, you know?
yeah, definitely. The games are a lot of fun to watch as well because you can see the Chinese and North American metas developing at the same time,
Yeah.
and
You
it's
know,
just it's
our
not separate. They're both bouncing ideas off of each other rather than we both have developed metas and then we're trying to see which one's better.
right. Everyone's kind of coming up simultaneously. You know, our producer just let me know too. Like for me, this is actually my 5th day of TFT casting this week. Because we it wasn't even a week ago. It was Monday and Tuesday. We had the finale of the Giant Slayer series,
Oh
which
right,
ran
yeah,
for
just that
the
up.
month of April. Yeah, so it's been a great week at TFT. We're not done yet. Can't wait for the finals tomorrow.
Yeah, some of these players have also played like, 20, 24 competitive games of TFT in a week as well. And competitive games are a lot more straining than playing on the ladder. It takes a
Yeah,
lot of focus, a lot of just
that
just
is
gameplay. You
true.
can see Rowan right here. He just turns off his mic and camera so he doesn't have to interact with chat. He's very focused on making sure that he makes the best decisions he can.
Yep. Yeah, if I were in his position, I wouldn't even have chat open on my screen. I would just be focusing on the game.
Yeah, I think most people, some people won't have chat open at all, but sometimes it's just one thing you like to do.
Yep. I mean, I love streaming TFT and chatting with people, but then again, like I'm just grinding the ladder. I'm not playing in a tournament, you know?
Yeah,
Not yet.
tournament play versus ladder play is very different. You can force comps and ladder all the time and not get contested. Whereas when you play at a tournament, everyone's looking at everyone's board all the time.
Yeah.
People are less lazy.
There's only a couple comps you can truly force right now in the competitive scene. I think one of them is Dark Stars. Another one is probably Brawler Blaster, and you might have an opportunity with like a Kale build or something like that. Um, but most everything else, you kind of have to be reactionary. And if you're playing Sorks, if you're playing like Infiltrator, and you get contested, then you have to either pivot fast or accept that you're gonna have a bad time. So no brawler just yet for Shendu on the other side. But that Vel'Koz is doing a lot of damage. I like the GA as well. That Vel'Koz is definitely the carry. He even has a second Vel'Koz in.
Oh, that
Doesn't help
redemption.
him out, but cool adaptation. Meanwhile, Huya is looking pretty strong early with that Last Whisper IE on the Xayah, which is becoming pretty standard items. There's 2 different ways to build Xayah right now. One is to go in the static Shiv direction. The other one is Last Whisper IE. And I feel like the Last Whisper IE is showing better results just from what I can recall about the games I've seen.
Yeah, I think Last Whisper IE is very single damage focused.
Yes.
Single target damage focused, and it's a lot better when Shiv with its spread damage, especially as people are running things like Mana Battery Sona. If she's just printing mana, then your Shiv is just canceled most of the time, and you really need to focus down one target at a time.
Even something like Celestial, which is a very, very common side synergy to add in, does a lot in terms of countering the damage from static shivs. So yeah, I think that item is cool. And if you can get like 2 static shivs on Xayah, then it might be as good. But 1 static shiv definitely doesn't seem worth it.
Yeah, one is definitely not enough, and I think even with it's good enough for early game, but when you hit towards mid to late game, it just falls off, and it seems like a lot of too much items committed to something that doesn't work in the late game.
Yeah, I wonder what the limit is. Obviously, 3 static shivs is very overwhelming and it's great. Uh, so I wonder where 2 static shivs falls when you compare that to the effectiveness of Infinity Edge and Last Whisper.
It's a lot of bows. That's the problem.
Yeah, well, I mean, for 2, it's only 2 bows. What else
Well,
are you gonna put 'em on, you know?
if you were trying to throw in static shivs, right? You would try to throw in
2 bows, 2
Rage,
tiers. That's all you
you would
need.
try to throw a Rage Blade as well, just to maximize your
I
value.
don't think you need that. I think you'd be attacking fast enough. I think you'd go for a defensive item at that point, like probably a QSS to keep the chain going.
Maybe there's a lot of ways to approach it, but overall, it seems a very large investment.
Right. Let's see. Speaking of investments, a little bit of gold being spent by Huya as he tries to find a little bit stronger board. He's 1 away from a Jarvan 3, so that'll be a big pickup when he gets it eventually. He's just kind of slow rolling 6 right now to look for some more 3 stars. 3-star Shen would be the best one to find at the moment. 2 Shens in there anyway makes his team pretty tanky. And yeah, should be another easy round win. One thing for sure is that the combination of 3-star Xayah and just a tanky Jarvan seems to be a really, really great win streak build. If you go for the Celestial route as well. Finds Kale.
Finds his
There it
Jarvan.
is. Yeah. Has the Blade Master, of course, in the Fiora. So the Fiora is probably something that you're going to want to replace with an Aurelia or with a Kale. Aurelia would be ideal, I would say, because you want to be able to add Mana Reaver in later.
Definitely.
Yep, that's kind of the standard right now. But for the moment, it is a 2-star Blade Master, so why not?
Oh, he does have demo spat, so
yeah,
really strong. He has also has an infiltrator Kale.
Yep, that'll be good as well because he can ditch the Kha'Zix and not have to run arguably subpar infiltrator. Fizzle can be big.
If he gets another one, he can be at 6 infiltrator.
Yeah, that's true. He could just go up to 6 infiltrator.
6 infiltrator, 120% attack speed.
Yeah. I have done that. The other thing you could do is I think there's a way you can actually fit in 4 sorcerers and still run the 4 infiltrators with an infiltrator spat.
Definitely a way, I think.
Yeah.
You really need to level up, and that's not something that he's looking to do.
Yeah.
As a mech player in general.
Usually more of a super dense galaxy kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Either way, Hudia's got a very, very strong build on the board right now, and he's going to be able to preserve his HP for a long time. So going a long way in just basically trying to guarantee himself a top 4. And if you look at the overall standings, he's currently at 42. So he really needs to have some very, very good games. So now moving over to Delicious Milk, who is playing Dark Stars right now. A little bit of a combination of Vanguard, Sniper, and Dark Stars. Looks like he wants to move over to 6 Dark Star at some point in the future.
He's looking to do that very soon. He's preparing for it.
And Delicious Milk has played majority Dark Stars. 4 out of his 8 games have been Dark Star this tournament. But Kale's pretty strong.
Yeah, Crone, having been able to pick up that Kale so early, has been able to use that to just keep a win streak going the entire time.
Right. Yeah, I think what Delicious Milk has is arguably a strong board, but he's just kind of running into some other pretty strong stuff. And I think when you look at his actual damage dealers, it's a 1-star Ashe, it's a 1-star Jhin. And that's just not going to, first of all, be able to utilize the Celestial buff well enough to create enough healing to sustain. So it may be better to look for Vanguard here, or just go up to 6 Dark Star. I think you need one of the two. And he wasn't really able to find either. So I think he just doesn't have enough damage to win a lot of these rounds.
One thing to mention, though, is Milk has actually never found a single Jhin outside of the carousels. Both of these Jhins came off the carousel.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose there is that. That is a little bit bad luck, especially at level 8. Not hitting his Aerith either does kind of hurt.
Huge play right there, CCing 3 units, leaving them in place for the Wukong to spin around.
I'm pretty surprised he won that, actually. it didn't seem, especially with the Kaisa demo spat getting in the back line so fast, it didn't seem like he was going to be able to summon the damage, but he did it. I believe, is he looking for a karma as well? Yeah, he doesn't have a karma yet. So that's preventing him from putting in 6 Dark Stars even if he wanted to.
Yeah, he does have that Wukong for a while, so I think he does want to keep that Wukong in. Hopefully, he can do something with it.
Got a lot of items on his bench as well. Look at all that. He also needs to spend his items. That's another big thing. So you've already got a GA on Jin. I think maybe you use the tier to make like a Shiv or something like that. Not ideal, but it is something. So how does he pop the tier off of the Jin? That's the question, because he could make a Runins on the Jin on the bench, and if he finds another Jin, he could put the bench Jin with the Runins in, and then he could. Yeah, there we go. So now he needs to take the other Jin out first. I think he needs to bench the other Jin and then Nico it. He's going to start the round anyway. Didn't have time to complete all that, unfortunately. But yeah, he was trying to figure out the trick we were talking about where you pop the right items off of the right guy, basically.
Yeah, I don't know if he intended to make that Deathblade or if it was an accident.
Yeah, because now the question is, what items will Jin end up with? He definitely won't get the tier, but will he get the GA? If he doesn't get the GA, he's in big trouble. So yeah, that's a good point. He's playing with some tricky stuff right now. So right, you bench the Jin. He's looking to see if he can find another Jin naturally, maybe first, but that's not going to happen. Oh, does this work? I thought you had to bench one.
Yeah,
Oh, we got the GA. I guess I wonder if it prioritizes non-duplicating items. That's the other. That may also be a thing in there. I don't know for sure, but I wonder.
Maybe I definitely think that I think there's a way to manipulate it, and you should do that if possible.
Yeah. So I don't know if it takes non-duplicate items over duplicate items, but either way, he's very happy that the GA ended up on Jin.
Fortunately, I don't think this is going to be enough for him to win this round.
Well, he has 0 stacks on the Deathblade anyway, so yeah.
Solus actually having a very, very strong comp with the Sona that can print
3 chows, man. So there's another Jin
right there.
So here's the funny thing is that double Runins on Jin may be better in a vacuum than Deathblade. The Runins is certainly good on the Xerath as well. And he definitely wanted the GA over the second Runins in that particular case. Or at least over the, he didn't want a situation where it was double Runins, Deathblade, and no GA. Because Jin is so prone to getting blown up, right?
Yeah.
But I wonder if in a vacuum, double Runins GA is better than a Deathblade Runins GA.
It's very hard to say, but I don't think he's going to win this round.
He's getting to the point where he's one-shotting everything, so he's looking okay. The redemption might make a big difference, though. If the Jarvan dies, redemption goes off. Oh, Xayah dies first, and yeah, that's it. That's what he was looking for. So the Deathblade stacks adding up quite a bit as well. That time coming in handy.
Yep, definitely for sure. Ooh, Celestials is probably what he wants here.
Either Darkstar Spat or I would say the Rage Blade would be it. Celestial might not be a bad idea either, though. Yeah.
It basically lets him keep his Vanguard and get Celestial in there.
Certainly does. And let's go over to Delicious Milk to see what he is up to. I thought we already were on Delicious Milk. I think we are. Yeah, he's looking at his own board. I thought I saw like a fade there.
Definitely still looking at his own board, but with his Celestial, he'll be able to survive a little bit longer, probably.
My brain is definitely starting to turn off at this point.
Yeah, it's been a long few days.
It has. All right, there's Ash 2. That's great. Mord 2. Nice little upgrades.
Yeah, this is where his comp is going to temporarily cap. I think he should put this on the Wukong.
Yep, why not?
Bar.
Yep, definitely can make the Wukong ever so slightly tankier. Having the Celestial bonus for the Jin is fantastic now. Same for the Xerath, too.
Runs into Kiyun though.
Yep.
Oh, that's Crowing.
Crowan,
Board.
again, going for the Kale build, finds the MF. Really good items on the MF, actually. Wow. Look at how in the world do you get all those amazing items on the MF so fast? That's crazy. Woo.
Oh, that last shot.
Wow. Oh, and the shot was not enough. 8th place for Delicious Milk. You know, it's been so strange because the last couple days, I feel like Delicious Milk has put together some very solid Darkstar boards, but they just come in at the very last moment when he doesn't have enough HP to sustain. So
Yeah,
there's
then
something about the way that these Darkstar builds are coming together for him that's just not working.
yeah, I mean, they come in just before he's about to drop out.
Yeah.
And then I know it. And other times, it just like one time you look around the board, like you come back after the carousel, suddenly he has a Jin and a Zareth, and you're just like, wait, where did these come from? He only had like 15 gold. How did he manage to hit it that way?
Right. So Chi2X having the 6 cybernetic build come together now. He found the Echo and he found a Lucian 3, which he's actually frontlining in the middle, interestingly enough, looking for the Zephyr on that mech if he hits someone playing mech. Is anyone still alive with mech yet? Kyun, I suppose, probably is.
Alive for
Yeah.
now.
All right. I'm curious what Shendu is building as well.
Yeah, from what I heard from just looking on the side as well, Shindu for a good amount of time was holding Kiyun's fizzes. Yeah, at one point Shindu had a 2-star fizz on his bench.
Dude, I love Shendu so much. Nobody else is doing that right now. Not so early in the game. Like he is just, I don't know. I'm becoming a big Shendu fanboy at this point, and I do not feel ashamed about that. He's going void. I saw it. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I do think it's great because Shendu is less worried about his points right now since he knows he's going to make it, and so by holding fizzes, it really stops him from getting those mechs and like overpowering every single person in the game.
Yeah, just simply not having a mech infiltrator player in the final lobby is it's just called peace of mind. Oh, but turnabout is fair play. G2X holding on to the Cho'Gaths now for the moment. I was wondering if he was going to hold those because obviously a win condition for Shendu if he's playing Void Brawler is getting a Vel'Koz 3 or a Cho 3 sometimes, but generally the Vel'Koz 3 is what you go for. How close is he though? Not getting a great view of it at the moment, but I'm sure we'll see him run into Shendu before too long here. He really just wants to Zephyr that front line. And he will get the Zephyr. No, he won't because there's a QSS on the mech. Oh, no. Oh, boy. Lucian trying to escape with his life. And it looks like that's over with. Yep, G2. Did he get eliminated? He did indeed. Anya out in 5th as well. Kyun 1 away from Rumble 3. All right, so Shendu's got the Void build up and running. I keep watching that sidebar to see if the Vel'Koz 3 is coming in. So here's an interesting interaction. I used to play a lot of, and he's doing the 2 Vel'Koz thing is what you do at level 8 or level 9 even. He's got it. Okay, that's sick. So anyway, Brawler Void. So it's good into a lot of matchups, but Mech Infiltrator can be a difficult one because you generally need more than 1 Vel'Koz out to kill the mech. And if Vel'Koz doesn't hit the infiltrators, then you just lose your Vel'Koz. Now, a way to mitigate that is what he's doing, which is playing double Vel'Koz instead. But the demo spat, as you can see, causes a huge problem. So it's all down to this other Vel'Koz now to see if he can get one more ult. And he needs to hit the Kaisa. He does. And Malphite may just be tanky enough here. Fizz ult totally whiffs, but this Vel'Koz is not going to live long enough.
Right down the I don't think that'll be enough.
Not going to come back with a lot of HP either. And yeah, so that's what I was saying. That is a matchup that Void Brawler struggles with for sure. Now, if he hits a Vel'Koz 3, that's the thing. A Vel'Koz 3 or Cho 3 can mean the difference. He's going to roll past an extra Cho'Gath 2, actually.
He's more looking for the Vel'Koz rather than the Cho. The Cho isn't really going to help him in this scenario.
The Vel'Koz 3 is definitely better, but he could have had Cho 3 actually by now. And the thing is like I focused on the Vel'Koz for a while, and I started just keeping everything because Cho'Gath 3 oftentimes can be a win condition as well, because with Void and the true damage, he does like 3 to 4,000 damage to everybody caught in the ultimate, and it is a bit random, but you can just delete whole teams with it.
Well, my thing is, you might as well keep him because just having Cho'Gath being held also reduces the pool so that you are more.
Vel'Koz! You're so bad! Vel'Koz! There was only one target and you missed it. All right, so third place for the Brawler Void from Shendu. I love to see it, but Vel'Koz, what a sad ultimate he has.
You can see both of them were fighting for the Zephyr right there. Zephyr is probably the best item when it comes down to things like 1v1, especially if you can just drop it right then. It can win you one fight since you don't have to worry about positioning.
Yeah. You can't so you can't Zephyr the mech. We know he has QSS, but maybe you can Zephyr something in the back line. Demolition is spat on Cassidon there. That's kind of funny because there's nothing that goes with it, unfortunately.
See, what I'm curious about is there was a demo spat on the carousel just now. He could have very easily taken that demo spat and then made another demo.
Yeah.
And then you would actually have Cassidon would do a giant AoE stun instead of a disarm.
Who would you put it on though? That's the question.
I don't know.
On board with Crowan right now. Is this the end of the game? Does Huya live one more round? He does at 1 HP. Kyun also dropped out the same round that Shendu is, but Shendu lived a little bit longer. So just a matter of what hits what. And so we have this really high-end, many synergy chrono kill build from Crowan going up against the Blade Reaver, the 3-star reroll Zaya 3, Jarvan 3 attack speed build from Huya.
Yeah, Huya just shifted his comp to 4 Mystic.
Interesting. Oh, he got the Zephyr on the Kale as well. That might make a difference. Yeah, the heals coming in. The Lulu ult could be clutch as well, but man, that MF just totally unopposed. And she decides to walk up and start boxing face to face. Dude, Shen 3 is so annoying. Lulu ult is just like, no, it's not happening. Yeah. And that's a win for Crowan. All right. That's big. Crowan coming up big. Another player that really needed to get some wins today.
Yeah, Lulu was able to actually just keep CCing them despite not having much damage going through due to the fact that there was 4 Mystic on the other side. But having 4 Mystic, you also do much less damage.
Yeah.
And the CC kept going down on top of the Zaya, so Zaya was just not doing anything for a large portion of the fight, just bouncing around.
Mm-hmm.
And pretty much allowed Crowan to take that win.
Yep, that's right. Very strong build. Let's take a look at the standings right now. So Kyun in first place with 16 points, but it's very close. 16, 15, 14, 13, 1 through 4. Huya, Crowan, and Shendu all challenging as well. And keep in mind, like, Shendu just needed points. He didn't even need to like get that good of a placement, but he's showing again and again his ability to pivot, his ability to play so many comps at such a high level that this guy keeps impressing me. Getting third place that time with Brawler Void. And that already, I believe, puts him up to 69 points overall after just 2 games. And he could break 80, which would be pretty insane for 3 days of play.
Yeah, right now, you look at your placements, and Shendu's still able to break top 4 every time, despite how it's going right now. We look at the standings here.
Yeah,
Kyun has broken into the top 8, knocking Saihan Saren out, with Crowan now in 9th place, very close behind.
Crowan on the bubble,
breaking in as well.
Yep.
If with 2 more games to go, a couple more points, and very likely Godlike will be knocked out.
Yeah, honestly, it's looking really likely. You know, Kiyun's going to get above him almost certainly. All he needs is 3 more points, and then Crowan, very close as well, needs 6 points or 7 points over 2 games to overtake Godlike. And Crowan barely, barely, barely through tiebreakers even snuck into the top 8 for the Giant Slayer series, and it looks like he might just barely sneak into the top 8 of this as well. But hey, honestly, if Crone has 2 good games in a row, he can even pass up Shanman Yu and maybe even Becca as well.
Yeah, depending on how he does in the next few games, if he has a solid top 4 performance, he could very easily pass them up. On
Yeah,
the other hand, unfortunately, I think Solus is now in a very, very rough situation.
he is
If he
not
wants
making it.
all, he does need to win the next 2 games,
Yeah.
and probably very likely not going to happen. And so,
Even if you win, even if he wins both games, he'd be at 60, and it doesn't look like 60 is going to be high enough to get you into the top 8 at this point.
yeah, at this point, it doesn't seem like a guarantee. Milk also, not having done very well in the last 2 games, is
Mhm.
now, he really needs to show up and play very, very well in the next few games in order to make the top 8.
Yep. So, on that note, we are going to take a quick break, guys. And when we come back, the final 2 games of group play here at the Starside Invitational. It's going to be intense. People are going to be knocked out of the top 8. People are going to get into the top 8. We're going to get to find out who our finalists for tomorrow are going to be. It's going to be a really exciting couple games of Teamfight Tactics. So, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back, everybody, to the Starside Invitational. DoA and Yuuj here, and we are about to see the final two games to decide who makes it to the grand finals lobby tomorrow night. It's going to be amazing. And what an exciting set of games we've had tonight, Yuuj. We've seen basically everything. Everything, even including Shendu bringing back the Brawler Void. It fell out of popularity for like one patch. It was big in 10.7, out in 10.8. Shendu correctly identifying that it's really good into some of the stuff that have been strong in the early days of 10.9, bringing it back and getting a third with it, which brings him up to fourth in points for the evening, but well solidifies his spot in the top 8 going to tomorrow. So looking at this list here, who else do you think can sneak into the finals?
I think Crowan has a very, very good shot if he is able to secure a couple more good placements. Huya is also well close behind. He's done very, very well today, and so he does have a very good shot at making the finals if he does keep this gameplay up.
Yeah, Anya, who's played a lot of that Blade Reaver composition, I believe maybe in the last game did as well too. For some reason, it's slipping my mind, but has a chance at least to move in. Remember, we're thinking that it looks like maybe around 60 is going to be the cutoff to get into the top 8, just judging by where the point scores are right now. So even players like Delicious Milk have a chance with 2 really good games. And, on the very, very outside edge of that, maybe She2X, but Soju and Solus, Soju definitely out. Solus, almost certainly not going to make it.
Yeah, with how it's going,
basically no. Yeah.
Win 2 games in a row, and like he actually has to win those games. He can't get second.
Yeah, and even then, that'll only be 60. So good luck.
Yeah, it's not very likely that Solus will move on to the next round. However, T2X does have a decent chance as long as he is able to place well, which he has done a little bit better today than before.
So we are jumping into our third game in set number 2. It is going to be another normal galaxy with a normal carousel, and on board with Crowan right now, who has a 5th place and a 1st place to his name so far tonight.
We have Crowan grabbing the chain vest with Graves. Maybe trying to, you don't really know where you're going to go with it yet, but looking at that, probably early Graves kind of holding some items and then, or maybe trying to take advantage of Space Pirates if possible.
Yeah, you never really plan, I suppose, on keeping the first champion you pick up off the carousel, but a Graves of the Chain Vest is one of those semi-rare occurrences where you can really see that guy sticking around and getting upgraded.
Yeah. Well, you see a Yi, which is Master Yi at level 1 is actually pretty strong, but is often just sold, very likely to be just sold for gold instead.
Yeah, I think he's waiting to see if he gets any gold off of the minions at least. But I agree. Like I like to run the early Master Yi if I can because he did get buffed at level 1, even though his level 3 got a little bit nerfed. But his 1-star rather. But in the end, with the priority that has emerged on 1-cost minions, seems like it's probably just going to be 3 gold in the end.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense to miss out on these poppies. These poppies are just way too important.
Yep. 5 gold now. I'd sell it all. I mean, Shen has Chrono at least, so you could consider keeping him a little bit more. But no 2 stars. That's unfortunate.
He still has another chance before having to face another player. So very likely that he will actually be able to hit at least one of those into a level 2 unit.
Yeah. Picks up the Zoe, doesn't pick up the Caitlyn yet. I think maybe that would be a good one to grab as well. Doing some early scouting, sees a couple Zayas on the other side. Kind of judging, even though there's a ton of 1-costs out there, what might be the most likely thing he'll come across. Finding a sword is pretty great. You got the GA.
Wow, those look like
turn into a red buff
items.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as he sees the belt, he buys the Malphite right away because he knows he's got a Graves in there. There's a Poppy too, but there's also a Lucian. Oh man, he could get the Graves, get the Lucian, sell the Graves, move the red buff over to Lucian, and then have a very strong Blaster Vanguard start. Now, does he sell the Graves? I think
Yeah,
you do. Yeah. Yep. This is such a strong move from Crone right now.
yeah, he drops the Leona in the back because in case someone has a Blitzcrank, it'll grab the Leona instead, and you can still keep your positioning on your Lucian.
Exactly what just happened. So yeah, good point. Good point to bring that up. Want to keep that Lucian safe after you invest the red buff on him. But now he's got a very strong little comp to start to crush some of these early rounds.
Yeah, so one thing of note, if you are trying to go brawler blaster comp, generally you do want to level early and streak with it because brawler blasters are very strong early game, and they cap out around level 8. Level 9 is just a minor increase, and it does fall off compared to other comps. So the idea behind brawler blaster comps are often very streaky and trying to keep your streak as long as possible. And that's why you want to aggressively level up the way that Crone has done it.
Yeah, I think to add to that as well, going to a higher level quicker gives you quicker access to Jinx, which is kind of the core carry to this build. And so the sooner you can start rolling those 4 costs, the sooner you can pick up that very, very, very important unit to add to your comp. And things like a Cho'Gath as well, but Jinx is really the big one.
Yeah, for sure. Huya just opting to stay very low level. Doesn't seems like he's going for a reroll comp here with just how things have been set up on his board.
Yep, and even Poppy with an Ionic Spark can do nothing in the face of red buff Lucian. Honestly, like blasters with red buff Lucian and some sort of tanky frontline is probably the strongest opening in teamfight tactics right now. I don't think a lot contests it in terms of just raw damage output. So
It's a good damage output, but you definitely have. Wow, he's actually got. Is he going to pick up this Vi here? Because if he
you don't necessarily need it yet, and if he wins, you can sell the Jarvan and the Caitlyn for econ.
he does get cybernetic if he takes it now, and he will need it later because he never found a Fiora.
Yep, and if cybernetics early on is pretty strong, that's definitely an argument to hold on to it. So the question is, at this moment, does he value power or does he value economy? This is a strong board that he's running into as well. That's a Lucian with static shiv, so that's another thing that can kind of contest a little bit here.
Yeah,
But there's a bigger tankier front line though.
I'm going to throw my shield at you.
Yep.
Crone also dropping the sword on his Lucian to make sure he wins this. I don't think it was nearly necessary, but definitely helped.
Yep. So he leveled and bought the Vi. So prioritizing the win streak. Solus gets to grab a Negatron cloak, so I wonder what he's building. And we'll see what Crone grabs. Last choice is the only player with 100 HP left in the lobby. There's a sword out there. No bow, though, so he can't make a giant slayer. We just wants another sword, though.
Sword.
Oh, he faked him out. Shendu was trying to deny for sure, I think. And Crone, just that little move over to the tier, made Shendu kind of pause for a second. I love those little things in the carousel that sometimes you can sort of like, someone's going to want to contest whatever item you're going for. So you start to pivot, towards that other item you don't necessarily want. And then at the last minute, jump back and grab it.
Yeah, Shendu was definitely thinking about it a bit. And then that hesitation combined with his the ping made it much harder for him to change his reaction as quickly as you normally would.
Ping probably having a bit of an effect there too. So yeah. Shendu thinking about what he wants to do as far as building this. It almost looks like he's going for a Space Jam build, but you can go a lot of different directions from the board he has. He's got just a generically strong board in general.
Yeah, he's spread out, so he just hasn't decided on what he wants to do. Yeah. And so he's just making strongest board possible without combining any items so that he can sell based on what he needs moving down the line.
Yep, and the space pirate will also just give him that extra gold as well, which is pretty nice. I think he's made 2 gold so far on this round.
Yeah, he's probably going to look to sell 1 unit.
Yeah, I'd sell a Fiora probably. Yep. Goes in, grabs it. Doesn't pick up the Jace either, although arguably that would make his board a little bit stronger, but You know, he among the Chinese players seems to value economy more than a lot of the other ones. He
Yeah,
can hit 20 pretty easily here too.
he's constantly keeping an eye on Kiyun. Just he is definitely Shendu has been spending most of his time just watching Kiyun. How far as long is he on his mech? I need to make sure I'm holding all his infiltrators.
Right. And I think Shendu is one of the only players I've ever seen prioritize holding other people's important units from the very beginning of the game. Even picks up that Annie for just a moment. Because another part of it too is that you can confuse your opponents if you go wide and then just sell before the end of every round. When people are checking during the round like this, you can give them the wrong impression. So Shendu really is doing a lot of little metagame stuff to keep people off balance. Also
Yeah,
keeping himself open for mech infiltrator as well.
yeah, he could very easily just go in a mech infiltrator and then just fight Kiyun for it and just be like, "Well, you need it more than I do to secure your placing, so I'm gonna fight you for it. And if you don't succeed, well, too bad. You're the one that suffers more."
Wow, this is brave. I think did he find a rumble? And yeah, he found a rumble. So he's committing to mech infiltrators. It looks like,
No,
which
he's.
I
Oh yeah, maybe.
yeah, I think it's the direction he's thinking the most about right now. Oh, and a tier definitely helps you think that. Yeah, he does have two mech infiltrator games in the tournament, a third place and a fifth place among them. So pretty good results with this build when he decided to play it.
Yeah, I think that's why also he was checking Kiyun so much was Kiyun didn't really have a lot of the mech infiltrator units yet, so it was a lot easier for him to like make that shift. He's like, okay, I'm gonna beat him on momentum towards mech infiltrator, so Kiyun can't pivot into it as easily.
Right. So the Malphite just providing a little bit more of the tank line and backlining his front line to make his enemies walk towards him and give more room for his infiltrators to operate. Important little positioning note. Everything about Shendu's play is super clean.
Yes, definitely is. He does make minor adjustments every now and then,
Yeah.
just making sure that nobody knows where exactly it's going to be. Only you can only estimate.
Even the cleanest play in the world, though, can't handle a red buff Giant Slayer Lucian at 3-1, though.
Yeah,
That's just
Crowan is,
ridiculously strong for Crone.
yeah, Crowan is playing fairly aggressive, and he's just trying to keep his win streak as long as possible, like I explained earlier. So he is level 6 compared to everyone's level 5. If you can keep your win streak, it's almost the same as having a good econ, right?
Right.
And so
I think we're
hold
moving into a
as long as possible.
as we jump on board with Solus now to check out his game, I think we're moving to a meta that you can actually fast eight a little bit more frequently again. Um, just because you've got the combination of people staying low, hyper rolling, so it separates the pack in terms of levels and access to higher tier units. And also because the strength of re-rolling in general in the mid game. So like the level 6 and level 7 re-roll comps are starting to fall off a little bit. So I think Fast 8 might start becoming a bit more viable, and Brawler Blaster, like we talked about earlier, is a way to sort of like do that in a very safe way.
Yeah, it seems like it could be something you could
Oh,
do very easily now. It's just with everyone rolling, if you just avoid the roll, it's it's just better overall. You don't
yeah.
have to deal with the worries.
So Solus looking like he may be picking up the mana battery. He may be going for the Vanguard, well, not Vanguard Sorcerer, just a 6 Sorcerer mana battery build with Sona.
Third time's the charm. We'll make it work.
Yeah.
Hopefully, his printer won't jam this time.
The printer, I feel like the printer hasn't even been plugged in a lot of times today.
The printer gets stuck due to Kaisa's in the back line with demo just stunning it all the time.
Network error. Yeah. Printer's looking more like a fax machine. Is going to win that round. Vanguard Sorcerer with the Jace is pretty strong early on. Sona providing a lot of sustain, obviously. Looking at Solus's results so far, though, today, he has an 8th and a 7th, so definitely taking a bit of a chance. Oh, Shendu going for the fizz. He gets the early fizz. Oh, no. That's
You know,
big.
like, he's taking my mech. He's
Yep.
griefing.
You know, it's legit. You know, he found the items, he found the champions. He's played a few games of it already. But if you're Kiyun and you are the mech one trick, it definitely does feel like a grief. I think Solus is just griefing everybody by just being good, though.
Yes, Shindu is just trying his best to stop Kiyun, I think. He has the comp, and it's like, why not?
Yeah. Solus learning that he needs to buy XP to level up his team, put more people in. Important information there for him.
Not quite committed yet, though.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what he can make out of this. Finding the early Wukong was a nice little power spike for him. Gets to add Chrono in, keep the 2 Vanguards. So this build is kind of in its strongest form at the moment, I would say. Aside from having 3 stars, which he doesn't have any yet. But in terms of just what units you have in right now, it doesn't get much stronger than this. But as you can see, without the 3 stars, you're going to take some losses. But that's a very early Jin with a very scary Last Whisper on the other side from Huya.
Yeah, Solus is going to need to start finding things very soon, or he is going to die really, really fast.
Yeah. So here's the crux of the issue with playing this game is you can't hyper roll because you want to hit level 8. Because this comp doesn't work late game unless you have 6 sorcerers, right? So you can't really spend a lot of time hyper rolling. So you need to find your 3 stars at 1 cost organically. So it's kind of the trade-off. Like, do you hyper roll and focus on 3 stars, or do you try to level quickly and get the synergy online? And the synergy is a stronger thing later on. But as you can see, this comp can be kind of weak against certain other boards in the mid game. It's going to win this one, but it seems like in round 3, if you're playing the mana battery Sona, you can either win one, lose one, win one, lose one, that kind of thing, or you can either win streak if you're lucky, or you can either lose streak if you're unlucky. So the variance in round 3 from playing this comp seems like scary high to me. So that's why I still feel I know I've seen it work, but I still feel kind of negative about this comp overall.
Yeah, it seems very high risk and mediocre reward. Yes, it can do very, very well, but those are very, very slim cases where you actually are able to get where you need to be. Granted, lose streaking is kind of important, especially if you want to get the items that you want.
Trying to find a Wukong 2 right now. Rolling down a little bit. Also, just to see what other sorcerers he finds. Obviously, TF3 would be a big priority. Sona 3 is a big priority. Going for the big roll down here. Here's a hyper roll.
Almost
One more TF.
TF.
2 more Sonas. Oh, come on, man. You can do it. You can find it. 1 more Poppy. 2 more Poppies, actually. Stops at 10 gold, which is what you want to do. You don't generally want to use the Nikos here unless you're maybe Nikoing the Wukong, but probably not. Finds the second Chalice, though, which is pretty sick.
I have a feeling he might just Nico the Poppy once he finds one more. It seems kind of not worth it for a Twisted Fate, but for a Poppy, could be worth it.
Yeah. Buys the Jinja at the end just to give himself a slightly higher chance of finding another Sona. That's rough, though. Rolling all the way down, not really hitting much. Okay, there's TF3. And at this point, do you sell the Jinja and stay at 10, or do you just roll down? I think you just roll down.
Got the Poppy. He might just he's gonna roll to see if he can get it. If he can't, he might just Nico.
Feels so bad using a Nico for Poppy 3, though.
He doesn't have the health though. Like I think he really should just Nico it because he's too low.
I agree, and I hate that I'm agreeing with you. I hate that I'm agreeing that this is the play, but at 27 health, You gotta do it. Oh, this build is. I mean, he found the 3 stars, but I think it might be a little bit too late here.
Yeah, it'll. I mean, it will save him for a bit. Like with the poppy, it'll give him some momentum to like catch up. But
Yeah.
at this point, it's worrying. He needs to naturally hit that Sona 2 and keep going up.
I
And
mean,
with
he's level 5 at 4-3. Like, if he runs into like Crowan and Anya, he just dies, right?
yeah,
He's got
if you
3. He's got essentially 3 lives right now. So basically, he needs to hit 6 really fast. We will see what Anya's up to now. Anya looks like he's got the cybernetic start, looking towards brawler blasters in the long run.
so this looks like a Aurelia form of Brawler Blasters.
Yeah, for the moment. Once he gets a Jinx, he might swap things around a little bit. But Aurelia does give him the cybernetics buff, and an Aurelia 1 is just a simply strong unit to have in.
Yep.
At this stage in the game. Uh-oh. Ash got grabbed. She's going to unload her arrow right in the face of nobody because she dies. Never mind.
If the solution's actually doing quite a bit of damage.
Yeah, the solution is huge. GA.
Wow.
Gonna maybe give him the win. Run! Poppy's coming for you. Oh, wow. He killed the Poppy. Whew, that was close.
He's going for a 3-star Lucian, or is he just going to swap all the items off? Because he has a 2-star Lucian on his bench.
I think generally you would want to split the items. So you'd want the Giant Slayer and the GA to go to Jinx, and then you could just put the red buff on the Lucian 2 again. We do see plenty of Jinxes with red buff as well, but she does so much better with like double Giant Slayer or even like a Rage Blade or something for that 3rd item slot that you probably want to keep it open. So we'll see what happens when if he high rolls. Is he actually going to build another red buff? Maybe he just grabbed a belt. I don't know what else he has as far as free items on his bench goes. Does he have the opportunity? No, just has a belt.
He's moving more and more towards cybernetics.
Yeah, I guess that could be an option too. Honestly, he could just go cybernetics.
I lied.
4 brawlers.
He's so
you weren't wrong because he found the early echo. So you were totally right in that cybernetics would have been an option for him to go. But I think the items on the Lucian are just so much better for brawlers that even if cybernetics is tempting, brawler is still the path eventually.
Yeah, definitely. But he with him picking up more and more Lucians, I just feel like he's going for the 3-star Lucian at this point.
Yeah, I mean, if you hit it, it's not a bad thing. 3-star Lucian can certainly carry pretty hard. It can't carry as hard as Jinx in the late game, but it can basically get you to the super late game, which is the important thing.
Yeah,
so if you're Anya and you just need like a couple top 3 finishes to secure top 8, then yeah, Lucian 3 is definitely a way to get there. Ezreal 2, good pickup.
More brawlers, getting rid of stuff.
Yeah, and just stay at 10 gold. Yeah. The big problem right now for Anya is that his econ is a little bit low. And I guess by a little bit low, I mean a lot low. But then again, he is level 8. So I guess he's not really worried about saving up for leveling at the moment.
Yeah, he's more or less just going to naturally gain his econ back over the next, like after the next PV round, he's very likely going to be around 30 gold.
So I think Crowan was running Brawler Blaster as well. So that's 2 Brawler Blaster players that are able to get that fast 8. That's kind of what I was talking about, where I think this is one of those comps where you can just kind of play that fast 8 route that Rebels played early in the set and that you saw a lot from like different comps in set 2.
Yeah, Milk is over here trying for the. I see him trying again for his Dark Star comp. He does hit the Xerath, but it's getting dove. It got dove by Aurelia.
Yeah, that happens. If Xerath doesn't have a trap claw, Aurelia is just gonna like run right through him, basically.
Yeah, which I think makes Brawler Blaster Aurelia a very, very good counter due to the fact that Aurelia tends to just go straight for the Xerath if you position her in the way.
Yep, certainly can. See what items Anya gets off of the Arc Raptors here. All right.
It's
Can
trap
definitely
claw.
make stuff out of a sparring gloves and a belt. Oh, there's a trap claw right there.
Yeah.
Picking up a couple of 4 costs. He wants to try to find that Jinx. Find the Jinx or find another Cho'Gath. Don't want to build any 2 stars of 4 costs because you do lose money on that. Thresher Mana Reaver. Okay. So that will be a nice little Chrono edition possibly later on. And yeah, you're not getting Celestial anyway, so you definitely want to replace the Kassadin with that.
I just find it really interesting that he hasn't found a single Jinx, but he's found like 3 or 4 Echoes.
Yeah, that is kind of wild. Maybe Cybernetics was the way to go after all. This mech is going to get toasted pretty fast. Cho'Gath alts come through, and Lucian not going to be able to carry this one, I don't think.
Yeah, unfortunately for him,
All
but
right, so Shendu putting together a pretty strong mech infiltrator build so far, but he's down to 9 HP, so it's looking unlikely that Shendu can top 4 this game. Not
yeah,
that
I
it
think
really matters for his overall
he's trying to roll all his gold to try to get that, to either get the Jinx or to just get the Lucian 3.
Right. I think the Jinx will make you feel a little bit better because without the Jinx, hitting 4 blasters is going to be really difficult. Look at these pretty decent mech items for Shendu, but he's running into a really strong Xerath on the other side, and that mech is not getting back there. It looks like Shendu's just probably dead here.
Yeah, it's Mech versus Dark Stars.
Yep. GG. So he's out in 8th. Oh no. I mean, it doesn't matter because he's gonna make it to tomorrow anyway. But that is rough.
Yeah, you have Kyun, though, other mech player, 3 HP. I don't think it'll make a difference since he doesn't have enough gold to take advantage of the fact that now he's the only remaining mech player.
Yeah.
And so we'll get to see if he'll survive this next round. Doesn't seem likely though.
The funny thing is, Shendu did take an 8th in his games yesterday as well. So he generally places very high, but once in a while you just kind of bottom out.
I think that largely has to do with he goes with higher risk comps once he's actually got a high placement.
Yeah. I don't know. If I just wouldn't play Mech Infiltrator in a tournament. But the thing is by playing Mech Infiltrator and shutting down Kyun, he actually reduces Kyun's chance of making top 8. So
Wow.
there is the effect there as well.
Barely survives that.
Wow, no kidding.
Like even Milk was pretty positive that he was going to die.
Go Jin. I'm looking at the stats overall, 57. So Kyun, even if he does place pretty poorly this game, is still looking in pretty good shape to make it to top 8 over the next 2 games anyway. We'll see. He should be in the mid 60s at least.
Yeah, I think Key overall is fine as long as he's able to climb a few more points. I think as long as he doesn't get last in the next game, I think he is definitely fine for for making it to the top 8.
Honestly, if I were Jean Yu and Becca right now, I would be extremely worried about getting knocked out of the to the top 8 based on some of the projected my DoA math estimation projected math, which take that with a grain of salt, but it's looking like we might see mid 60s now be the bottom of the top 8.
Yep, you see Milk here. Just he's not gonna gamble for the Xerath too with 34 gold. He's just going, I'm gonna go 9, and if I don't make it, well, I don't make it.
Yep. I don't think that's a bad idea, honestly. Mord is so big. It's Jin. And he gets the win. The win with the Jin.
Milk living on with 1 HP, where he's does his best.
Yep. 1 HP comeback. And Solus, the sorcerer build, not working out for him, down to 7 HP. On the verge of bottoming out. So we see a big gap actually between the top 4 and the bottom 4 in terms of hit points. And Rakan and Sona 3 hit respectively. Shen 3 hit by G2. Oh boy. So some Jace 3 hit by Huya. So there's some enormous power spikes being achieved right now by the players that are already in the top 4 for this particular lobby. So it seems like it's only a matter of time for Solus Q and Delicious Milk to get knocked out. We'll see if Delicious Milk can survive this round. There's that Lucian too from Anya.
Xerath is doing insane damage.
Yeah. What a comeback it would be too for Delicious Milk to take a top 4. He's on a win streak now at 1 HP.
Yeah, all the bottom 4 were actually won this round, so they all are still in it.
All right. Yeah, G2 despite G2X, despite hitting that Jace 3, actually loses a ton of HP. So never mind. This may be way more open than I thought it was.
Oh yeah. Very is gonna come up like half of the lobby is going out in the next round.
Pretty much. Well, Infinity Edge is a decent drop. Yeah, that can go right on the Jhin.
You can level straight to 9, I mean, after this.
Yeah.
Got your Chrono in there, your Thresh rather, to pull in more Dark Stars.
Unless you can probably trying to find a Celestial. And he does. There's a Kassadin. Okay, yep. Has another one. Celestial definitely the best thing to add into 9 and in terms of just pure synergies. Oh, it's another Xerath.
He's looking for the possibility of maybe getting a Lulu, and that's what he really needed. But
yep,
cast a temporary.
Yep, that would be that'd be ideal for sure. You definitely just want your Xerath and your Jhin healing for that big amount from shooting.
Oh, the mana printer.
Here they come. Here comes the mana. And Delicious Milk is out. Star Guardian TF just too strong. 7th place for him after looking like he might be able to make a little bit of a run back, but no such luck.
Yep. The printer actually started printing.
Yep, that's right.
No longer jamming.
It's pretty fast. 60 copies per minute or whatever is good for printers. I don't even know. I don't even know what a good printer is right now. I think the best printer is just print to PDF, so you don't need to use actual paper.
Yeah. Kyun making it into top 5, taking out G2X right there.
Yep. Certainly has a strong mech in the Bramble Vest and the Dragon's Claw.
Crowan looking really good. Has the Asol too. Very solid top 4 comp.
Yeah, and we haven't seen his board for a while, but I would imagine it would be that Brawler Blasters with the Rebel Edition. If he went in the trajectory it looked like he was going to go in the early game.
Yeah, that's definitely what his board is. Kyun is still alive, so Solus might go down here.
Oh, run! Solus out in 5th. All right, and so no top 8 for Solus, just not possible here. Look at that, though. Chat just going insane. Kyun making it happen here. Mech Infiltrator, the comeback. Beautiful.
Yeah, Kyun taking over the position of Mech Infiltrator comebacks from Delicious Milk.
Yep. So taking a look at a couple different boards here. Now, did I see Crone had the Aurelia in there as well? Well, here's Huya. Let's take a look at his board instead. Going for a big beefy Dark Star comp with double, looks like 4 Vanguard actually. Never mind, Vanguard Sniper maybe the build for Huya?
Yeah, it's Vanguard Sniper Dark Star.
Jhin slams in and breaks up the mech. And Jin basically free firing from the back.
Yeah, I think
Mord
Kyun
3 still alive. Oh, so close. Kyun out in fourth. Huya actually manages to live. And but you know what? Just like his chat says, we take those. Fourth place gets a good amount of points, 6 points for Kyun. And that should, along with what we assume he get in game 4, that may be enough to more or less guarantee him a spot in the top 8. More or less.
Definitely people are going for the Zephyrs here.
Yeah. Oh, no doubt. Like Anya just let Huya take it. That's actually pretty amazing. Infiltrator spatula grabbed on the other side. So let's check out Anya's board here. Has he MF? All right. Shield, probably want that, right? The Lucian dream is not happening. Let's put some items on Misfortune. No, he actually just swaps. Yeah, now this. Okay, I was gonna say, yeah, now you put the static shift on MF. I knew we wanted to move some of that over to MF. Lucian gonna be getting in there with the infiltrator and the red buff.
Was a little bit too slow on the movement.
Funny thing is, he's got the infiltrator buff via 2 infiltrator spatulas. So Lucian and Aurelia attacking extra fast here. That's kind of crazy. Good MF ult. That Mordekaiser is so insanely tanky, though. Is 3-star tank Mord carry back? Is Vanguard Sniper with Mord carry back?
I mean, it allows him to start being that carry very, very early on.
Dude, this was a build. Mord carry, as we see Anya go out, Mord carry was a pretty popular build back in the early days of set 3. And it was something that people played with a lot of the PBE as well. And it fell off really hard. But I'm watching this game right now, and I'm like, those are like pretty great items on the Mordekaiser. Obviously, Gunblade helps him heal a lot. But I think maybe carry Mord in Vanguard Sniper comp is back. People are trying to make Jace 3 a carry, but forget that, man. Mord just lives forever and heals. So I like this a little bit better.
That MF has 2 death caps and a frozen heart.
Yep. But she's going to be just plain dead soon. Looks like, it really looks like Crowan is in a little bit of trouble here.
He needs to get his MF not Zephyred, and that's like a big deal for him.
Yeah.
If it gets Zephyred, he has almost no chance.
Right. Got to avoid the Zephyr, and somehow you have to kill the Mord.
Yeah, there's also the opportunity for a Zephyr play on Crowan's side right now.
Mm-hmm.
However, he has to be careful that he doesn't Zephyr the QSS.
Right. Just having the Zephyr, though, is pretty big. He's probably going to wait till the beginning of the next round to apply it.
So what should happen here is Huya should do a QSS play for the unit that he doesn't want Zephyred.
Trying to find the NF2.
Like right before. So that it can actually screw up Crow and Zephyr play. And if that happens, I'm pretty sure that Huya will be able to take out this game.
Yeah.
So this is these are slight mechanics that can make the biggest difference.
All right, Blitzcrank right in the middle. He's going to pull in. Looks like, oh, no, he hit the QSS. Just kind of gave his Blitzcrank the 50-50 of right or left pull in, hit the QSS on the Jin, unfortunately. But Jinx left to her own devices for quite a while. Wukong did not slow her down. That Jin, though, is just going to one-shot everything. And MF puts on the fireworks, and it's a celebration, but not for Crowan as he goes out in second. And it looks like it will be Huya taking first in this game. So the rankings definitely getting shaken up a little bit with that.
Yeah, Crowan was unable to not just move his unit around.
Yeah.
And so MF got Zephyred both times, making him lose the fight very, very hard, since the MF never ulted when he needed it. The MF ult was pivotal to making sure that Jinx got a reset and was able to go off. And so very well played on Huya's side, but Crowan definitely could have moved his MF a little bit more at the last minute. I think he was a little bit slow and ended up leaving his MF behind when he meant to move it,
Mhm.
and that made the hugest difference in the last fight.
So it was cool seeing the victory moment for Huya after that as well. A lot of energy there as he takes the first place spot in the lobby at the moment. And he is having a great night, honestly. A second or a third, a second, and a first so far in his 3 games. And he is very quietly putting together a run that just might get him into the top 8. We'll have to see what the overall rankings are after 3 games and check that out. Huya is so close, and he has a real good shot here because look, Becca at 63, DoA Yuuj at 62. 2 players that Huya could easily overtake with just even a mediocre game and jump into the top 8. Anya on the outside looking in, very, very close there. Funny enough, even Crowan might get overtaken here, or not, even Kurum might get overtaken. It's possible. Crone at
Yeah,
61 in the top 8, but it's really starting to look like Becca and DoA Yuuj might get knocked out here.
it really depends on what happens down the line. Godlike actually getting locked out already, so definitely you do need 61 is definitely a threshold, or maybe 62.
Well, yeah, with
It,
more games played, it's like we were saying earlier, where the mid 60s look like the cutoff now. It keeps rising as some of these players keep performing really well tonight.
yeah, it looks like also Milk is just out of the running now.
Yeah.
There's almost no way that he can actually qualify. Neither can G2X. So we are down to just Anya and Hudia having the opportunity to break into the top 8,
I
and
would say
just they're a little bit worried.
Yeah, I would say even Anya needs to have a pretty insane game to make it.
Yeah.
Right. So looking at the top 8 right now, we're actually on track for possibly 4-4 from the
Yeah,
regions.
very likely that it will be a 4-4. It
Yeah,
possibly uh it could be a 5-3, but more likely than not, it will be a 4-4.
yeah. The 5-3 scenario seems if Anya has like an insane game 3, basically.
Yeah, Anya and Hudia both have to do pretty well in the next game in
Hmm.
order for that to even happen.
Yep. And so that means we have 1 game left to go in group play here at the Starside Invitational. One more game to decide who makes it into the top 8, goes to that grand finals lobby tomorrow, where we're going to play 4 games to crown a champion. And it's been a really, really exciting night of matches, and we've seen such a huge variety. But one thing always comes up in that Brawler Blasters just seems like probably the strongest comp in the meta as far as if you measure strength by consistency, then I think Brawler Blaster is probably the strongest. But we've seen a lot of other comps take first as well. And we got a
Yeah,
trade
Power
sector for our
Blaster
last game here.
is one of the best comps when it comes to the normal galaxy. When there's no like big variance in terms of the gameplay with like trade sector, with which we have right now, trade sector, treasure trove, all the other galaxies that really change a lot of things up. I definitely think Brawler Blaster is very strong.
Right. So get ready for the reroll comps. Here we go. We've been seeing less and less of those tonight, actually. I don't think we've seen a single player play Space Jam all night. I think we saw like 1 Slash Bros, but Space Jam not around. Definitely a lot less Candyland than we saw yesterday. So some of these hyper roll reroll comps on normal galaxies are starting to fall off pretty hard.
Yeah, they're definitely falling off pretty quickly, but we are in trade sector, so reroll comps are very, very much a thing here.
Right. This is one of the galaxies where you can still see a lot of it. So probably going to see a very different spread of compositions this game than what we've seen in the last 3.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely think it'll be very, very different from what we've seen before.
Yep. Interestingly enough, over the course of 3 days of group play, we have not seen a single Nicoverse or Medium Legends galaxy.
I'm
So
for one, I'm happy. Medium Legends is not my favorite galaxy, and neither is Nicoverse. Nicoverse is largely about okay, I hit my forecast unit, slam those Nikos on, and then once we slam those Nikos on, we just have a 2-star forecast super early.
right, or you just play Dark Stars and get a 2-star Zareth.
Yeah, or do that.
Yeah, that's my go-to for Nicoverse.
There are multiple ways to use the Nico, of course, but
Hmm.
it's definitely up in the air. It's a lot of how long is holding these Nikos uh, viable. If I hold them too long, then I'll never use them, and it's just not worth it anymore.
Yeah.
Also,
So
wow,
Huya finding a lot of sorcerers early here.
yeah, he's got all the Star Guardians.
Could build the Ionic Spark on Poppy. I think because he hasn't found a whole lot of poppies yet, that's a little bit riskier. But you know what? He's nearly got a Zoe 3 already. So I feel like you got to start getting ready to dedicate some items to Poppy here at some point.
Yeah, those getting those, just being able to hit those units so early is just really lucky to say the least.
Yeah. So against this board, Ionic Spark is not going to be quite as useful, but you can tell he's thinking about it.
Yeah, he's thinking like even if I put this Ionic Spark on, I'm probably going to lose, so I'm just going to
Yeah.
hold.
Yeah, this one's looking like a loss no matter what.
Anya does have a very strong board.
Yeah. And when you think about the strength of Ionic Spark, obviously it shreds MR, but it also does burst damage. There's some poppies. It does burst damage when the enemies cast their spells. Malphite does not have a spell to cast, and TF and Vi are going to do it like maybe once. So yeah, the benefit not there. Now that he's got a poppy too, I would say go ahead and slam it. You've got the Leona too as well, but you could also just choose to wait and accept losses going into Carousel. So we'll see what he values more.
You could
Getting on that
accept
win streak
it's either
or Carousel.
Ionic Spark or wait and Dragon Claw. He chooses
Yeah.
to make the Ionic Spark.
I don't think that's bad because now you do have a situation where characters like Zaya, Jarvan are going to be casting their ultimate a lot. So Ionic Spark's going to come in a lot more handy, as you can see. But it might still be a loss.
I think he'll actually win this one.
Yeah, possibly.
So he just needs to throw the spell. There we go.
Yep. It was close. Oh, very, very close. That stun from Zoe definitely is something you can't underestimate. Oh, wow. Early Syndra.
Yeah, he's definitely gonna take it.
Moment.
He's basically committed to, hey, I'm going Star Guardians Vanguard or Sork Vanguard.
Right. So Syndra definitely does fit into that final comp. He's got a lot to sell here. Um, because you could hold on to the Syndra, but you run into that situation where it's like you've already got Star Guardians. You're not going to play the Syndra over the Ari, and she could just be 3 gold to help you get to a level higher, especially where you're playing a comp that needs to kind of level 8. So yeah, the Syndra I would imagine is going to get sold. Yeah, there we go. Thanks for stopping by, Syndra, but yeah, you want to get those 1 costs for now. You can always find another Syndra later. But the Ari doing the true damage is definitely going to power this up a little bit. That Zaya with Static Shiv, you're like, I heard Reddit told me this was good. Why am I losing? But the Sork buff, Vanguard buff, and Star Guardian, that is some insane early synergy. So now it's on to the carousel. And what's the item going to be for Huya? Probably wants to find another tanky item for Poppy. That seems to be when you go for the 3-star Poppy and you go for this Candyland build, as it were, you generally want to find a tanky item. Just going to grab the gloves, which can be turned into a lot of different stuff. Trap Claw and QSS. So can make a lot out of it.
Yeah, definitely. Trap Claw is just a very versatile item. QSS. There's so much CC in the game now, especially with Trap, and Trap Claw just also enables carries so much better that people are just building them all the time now. So Poppy.
Yep, this build doesn't really use the Poppy, so you don't really need to hold on to it, I suppose. He's going for the Blade Reaver build with the Zaya 3. choosing to go Infinity Edge and Last Whisper, which is a better single target variation, and probably the stronger variation, just in isolation.
Yeah, Milk has shown that he's done very, very well with it build before, so it's very likely that he will continue to use this Blade Master build, especially in the trade sector.
Oh yeah, for sure. There's another Fiora 2. So hitting Fiora 3 is never a bad thing. You're never going to be sad about a Fiora 3. You definitely don't need the Kazakhs.
He wants to
So, ooh, does he? Yeah, use the reroll. He's very close to a lot of big upgrades here.
Yeah, and he hasn't even had to. He's just just trade sector rolling. He's that's really all he's been doing.
Yep. Very cool. I think the big thing is that the items early on really pushed him in the direction of the Xayah opening, and it's quite good.
Fortunately, it gets dunked by the Darius.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it. This is one of those. This is one of the games where if we're gonna see Space Jam tonight, this is gonna be it. Crowan is a player that's played a good amount of Space Jam in the past, since it got popular like a week or two ago. So we know he likes the comp. We know he's got experience with the comp.
From his bench, it honestly looks like he's going Brawler Blasters because I saw almost a complete Graves 3 on his bench. So it could be very likely. But Milk does hit his Jarvan here, and that's going to make a huge difference for this team comp.
Yeah, that'll definitely help a lot. Really close to his Xayah 3 as well.
He hasn't even finished the Terra Bursters, and you got a Jarvan 3 right here.
Yeah, well, welcome to Trade Sector.
If you can hit that Xayah, it'll be very scary.
Yep, making short work of the Terra Bursters. There's a Trap Claw. There's also an Infinity Edge. That is big. Gets the Infinity Edge on the Xayah. Wow. So perfect items on the Xayah. Now you just finish it off with a probably a defensive item. But that is exactly what you want to see if you're going for this build. Now you just got to find the Xayah 3. One more.
He's just rolling down. He's like, I need this.
Yep, picks up the Ash for Celestial. And again, you're already strong. You don't need to rush, but he's going to do it. He goes for it anyway, and he finds a Xayah 3 just wanting to outpace anyone else that might happen to be looking for it. Wow, Delicious Milk is really strong this game.
Yeah, I think he just wanted to use the chance where you had a 60% over the 40% just to kind of roll down. If he was already level 5, he probably would not care to do that. But during this time, he just wants to ensure that he gets it. Because you see Chi2X over here. He also wants that Xayah.
Yep. Well, he's going to wreck this board. Yep. Yep, that'll do it. So a no synergy comp going to be on a win streak very soon. Crowan on a win streak right now in the lobby as well.
It says it is a no synergy comp, but more or less,
Well, now it's a synergy comp. Yep, gets 2 of them with the addition of the Shen, Chrono, and Blade Master there.
Yeah.
No, selling the Kassadin is so rough because you want Celestial, but Ash is going to be a better addition anyway because you get Celestial and Sniper.
He needs the eco, so he's just selling him for eco. He's like, I can find these later.
Right, and you want the Ash more than the Kassadin anyway.
Yeah.
Mana Reaver is an addition you'll put in at some point, but Celestial is probably the stronger early synergy with this many 3 costs.
Definitely, and Jarvan just able to create these situations where your Xayah just goes off attacking so fast.
I mean, the Chrono plus the Jarvan attack speed is such a massive damage boost.
Yeah, and see, he finds his Ash and his Kassadin.
Yep. Yeah, might as well hold on to that for a little while.
And then they're gone.
All right, yeah, it sees, I can hit 20 gold. All right. Do that instead after the reroll. So, and again, like you're on a win streak that doesn't look like it's going to end, so you might as well use the opportunity to get some gold rolling. I'm definitely not opposed to this.
For sure.
Yeah. What early fizz? Did you see that? Was that Kyun? Oh, Kyun has a mech already at 3-3. What?
Wow, that's a
I mean,
reroll
it's a
galaxy.
nerfed mech. Yeah, it's a
Double the
nerfed mech, but still. It's not Poppy time. Although I would buy the Poppy here because you're still gonna have econ and you just make it so that you might hit one of the one costs you want. Hey, how about a Jin with a sword?
Yeah,
That's
why not?
that's great.
If I'm going Dark Stars, that just looks juicy.
Yeah.
On the other hand, that Kale also looks very juicy.
Yep, certainly does. Kale with the possibility of building a Rage Blade off of the rod. Pretty nice.
Yeah, Cheeto just still doesn't quite know what he wants, so he's just kind of standing in the middle.
I'm trying to remember what he was building.
I don't remember.
It's like midnight on the West Coast right now. I have no idea what anyone's doing anymore. All right. So Shendu, what's he up to? What are you up to, Shendu? Looks like a Cybernetics Vanguard Chrono Blaster. So just quote unquote good stuff for the early game. Early level 7, so he's fast aiding, and there's another Wukong. Puts in brawlers. So you know all those good synergies. Why not mix them all together? All those good early synergies. A little bit of everything.
Got some Chrono, got some Vanguard, you know.
Yeah, it looks like he's gonna gear towards Brawler Blaster. Doesn't really matter that there's somebody else with the Graves 3 out there already. You don't need a Graves 3 for this build. Huya looks like he's going for the Vanguard Sorcerers. I don't mind the Thieves Gloves on Ari actually with this.
Yep. Ari always does good with Thieves' gloves. In general, she does a lot of damage, and it's just why not put it on her? Someone needs it.
So a lot of people have been building her out as the main carry with this comp lately. And that's, I suppose, an argument to not put Thieves' Gloves on her. But that said, putting the Thieves' Gloves on Ari allows you to save other items for a Vel'Koz later, which is ultimately going to be your stronger carry than the Ari in the late game. So I like it in the sense that it's just like, all right, Ari has items all the time now, and I can just worry about Vel'Koz, right? Even though Vel'Koz has like terrible eyesight and misses all the time, even if there's only one other person on the board, at least he'll have items.
So Kiyun has a 3-star Kha'Zix, but his mech is just a level 1 mech that's fairly weak.
Yep, and things like Red Buff and Giant Slayer should run right over this, which it does.
Yeah.
And Kyun get a little bit low. So it's honestly tough to run Mech Infiltrator in Trade Sector because your mech is going to be super weak and everybody else is high rolling into higher star early stuff. So even if you hit like a Kha'Zix 3 and like a Kaisa 3 earlier than you normally would, you're not going to have the items on Kaisa to really make her your carry just yet in most games. And your mech is going to be so weak that your front line is going to melt almost instantly. And then your infiltrators are going to be vulnerable. So I actually think Mech Infiltrator is probably one of the worst comps to play on Trade Sector. And what is happening to Kyun right now is kind of why I've developed that opinion over seeing a lot of games of it.
Yeah, a lot of the time, Kiyun's going with Mech Infiltrator. Kiyun's going to run into the problem where he's in an awkward situation. Yes, it'll help him hit, his 3 stars, but it's like it's just this really weird balance where if you're lose streaking early, you're going to be in very, very big trouble by the time you get to where you
Right.
need to be, because you have to pivot.
Because your 3 stars are like your important 3 stars are a 3 cost and a 4 cost, right? Like
Yeah.
any 3 is not going to save you early on. So
Yeah.
yeah, I just don't think it's a very good comp for a Trade Sector. So we're on board with Crone now, and he has got the static Shiv Zaya going with, I'm sorry, G2 actually, playing against Crone, my bad. And yep, it is G2 trying to make the other Zaya build work, which is looking, as we see a bunch of games of this, it's looking like probably the weaker version of this, but we'll see how he does with it. He's got Giant Slayer, so there's that.
almost has a Caitlyn 3 and a Fiora 3.
Yeah, Caitlyn 3 would let him put Chrono in, which would be cool. Fiora would just be another Blade Master, basically.
Yeah, he's rolled down a lot, but it's also like it's kind of he hasn't hit them when he should, and because he's overly committed now, it's just he's going down so fast
He
that
also put his Zaya in a place where she got Blitzcrank grabbed, which is not ideal. And he may be on the verge of being one of our first players to be eliminated. Kyun does finally win, so maybe he's stabilizing around 30 health. And with all of the struggles of Mech Infiltrator on this galaxy, you can come back from very low health totals. So being at 30 or below actually like isn't the end of the world for a Mech Infiltrator player.
yeah, but for G2X over here, does seem like the end of the road very soon.
Yeah, it could be. Meanwhile, Shendu at 4-3 just hit level 8, so things are going great for him. 94 HP, on a win streak, making the best of it by just going fast 8, and he is going to have like primo VIP access to all the top cost units in the game now.
Yeah, more or less, you get the free roll from Trade Sector, which is which is going to be really, really valuable. Especially you get all these free rolls at high level.
Yeah. Huya getting the win over G2X
He's
with
gonna have to roll all his gold down and see if he hits it. If he doesn't hit it, then he's just done for.
Yep. And even if he does hit a Caitlyn 3, it's not probably going to help him all that much, honestly.
It really might not make too much of a difference in the long run.
Nope. I don't think Caitlyn 3 is one of those units that's going to like save your comp, you know? You get
Yeah.
Chrono, sure, which is nice, but she's not going to do all that much damage herself right out of the
Yeah.
gate.
Overall, I just don't think. I think
Right.
Chichonix has overcommitted onto his comp by more or less forcing the comp, despite not hitting it.
Yeah, and I mean, he's at 48 right now, so he's not really going to be making the top 8 anyway, so it really doesn't matter. I'm really curious about what Shendu is up to with that fast 8. So hopefully we can get a look at his board pretty soon.
I'm surprised he didn't just keep rolling first before leveling up.
Cool. All right, let's take a look at Shendu. As much as G2X has been fun to watch, he's not going to make the top 8, it looks like. So let's take a look instead at what Shendu is up to. 4 blasters, 2 brawler, 2 chrono, using some of those early vanguards to kind of shore up his front line while he goes for the 4 brawlers. And it looks like, is he missing a Cho'Gath and a Vi? No, he's got the Cho'Gath, but he does not have the Vi. Did I see that correctly? Either way, he's got a strong front line. And he might have his win streak broken right here, actually. Despite that Lucian carry. Well, we got there just in time, I guess. Win streak over.
Shendu had Shendu's not Shendu. It was broken by who was that again? Was it Anya?
I didn't. I actually didn't look.
I know they were running cybernetics. It was an Aurelia. The Aurelia just ran everything. Yeah, it was definitely Anya. Anya had a very, very strong Aurelia.
Yep.
With perfect items and infiltrator.
And so remember,
backline very easily.
Anya is sitting at 57 points right now, so he really needs to have a good game and break into like the mid 60s to get into the top 8.
Yeah, if he can get a first place here, he can secure himself a position in the finals.
I think the cutoff right now is more or less Becca at 63, so that's what he's going to want to try to exceed. You know, the Lucian 2 with these items is really, really good right up until about now. Here's where it starts falling off, and you start to really want that Jinx instead. He needs another Lucian, though. Or Aurelia. No, I don't think so. So he's, Misfortune. Wow, all right. Finds an early MF. That is not bad at all. Yeah, I think you can definitely put in the MF and now split the items between the Jinx and the MF. Maybe just not give MF any items yet. Gonna put the GA probably on whoever needs it most out of those 2 in the next round. We'll see. But it's actually really big that he found that misfortune because his comp with the Lucian carry being the backbone of that was really on the verge of just falling off and just being
Yeah,
irrelevant. Oh, he found an IE. Wow, Infinity Edge acquired. That is big. And there's a Cho'Gath too.
there gets his other brawler.
Yep, there's the Vi. You're absolutely right. He's
Yeah,
level 8.
goes to 9 really easily here, and then just have tons of gold to just roll with.
Right. So I think you can pretty comfortably sell the Leona 2 here and put in the Malphite and then just be Brawler Blaster. You know, what does the Leona 2 really give you with these gloves right now? He's got 2
Uh,
of these gloves actually. He's got one on Cho and one on Leona. I guess no, he's not getting cybernetics. I
yeah,
wonder why he's keeping the Leona in.
so it doesn't really make a difference.
All of his brawlers have a lot less HP because the Leona is and not the Malphite. Unless I'm totally missing something really obvious. Oh no,
Wow.
Poppy!
Poppy made some plays.
Yep. There's a
Oh, he
Jinx too.
thinks, and he's got his rebel.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, I was like, why would you not take out the? I don't understand why he didn't take out the Leona last game. That was puzzling. Now we got the 4 brawlers in there.
9. It's a reroll galaxy. Doesn't matter to him.
It should because losing HP is still losing HP. At least now he can get to 9 and get that buff onto Jinx. You can see Aurelion Soul in the back line as well. Able to fly around. Thieves goes onto the Vi. Really? I thought the A Soul would get it. Okay, yeah, he was putting it on the Aurelion Soul.
He is not maximizing the shield and health. The shield and damage that you do get from a rebel buff. But
Right.
I think his focus is mainly just positioning.
Whoa, giant sword. Yeah, I mean, you're right. But at the same time, you're also right about the positioning as well. Where if you do the triangle formation, that groups things up in a way that can make it AOE. And this way, at least you've got like Aurelion Soul getting grabbed, which is not the biggest deal. There we
Yeah,
go,
you
though. Now just forcing things into the corner a little bit more.
can't really move Aurelion Soul. If you grab Aurelion Soul, he just doesn't. He doesn't get pulled. He just
Exactly.
stays there.
Yep. He's kind of like a free QSS, basically, for the
Wow,
rest of your corner.
Graves. Look at this Rebel Graves right here.
That sounds really strong. Um, I guess it's decent, but oh man, that Zaya. Yeah, I really prefer this Zaya build over the static Shiv. The more I see it, I think IE and Last Whisper is the way to go.
Yeah, most definitely.
All right, some scouting from Shendu as he's still comfortably in the lead life-wise. Losing some rounds lately, but he can catch up pretty quickly, I think.
Very
On board
likely.
with Crowan now, though, so let's see what he picks up. Goes right for the Static Shiv. Remember, he is going for the Static Shiv version of the build. So I think he should have a slot open on his Zaya for that second Static Shiv. Otherwise, I'm not sure why he would grab that. Checking to see who he's played against because you can kind of deduce who your next opponent will be that way. No, Crowan is actually swapped away. Gets the Static Shiv for MF just simply to put a tier item on her. So he actually moved away from the Zaya a while ago.
Yeah,
And
one
maybe I'm
thing.
even thinking of a different person too, because he doesn't have any other Static Shiv. So I think I'm getting him mixed up with someone else.
One thing I've noticed is that the Chinese players will just go straight from 8 to 9. And then because it's trade sector, it doesn't really matter. Like this is what Shendu did. Whereas Crowan has taken the liberty of slowly going to 9 rather than in one go.
Yeah, for the moment, being a little bit slow. Oh, his MF got grabbed. That is it's very unfortunate. And it looks like that contributes to Shendu winning in the Brawler Blaster v Brawler Blaster 1v1.
I mean, he is one level higher, so.
Yep, that is true.
And I think Crowan is going to look to level up very soon. I think he'll probably eat this. Nope, no, he levels up.
He's leveling. He's missing a couple crucial things, though. He doesn't have the Cho'Gath 2 yet, which is something that you probably want. MF1 is a little bit weak as well because she's easily grabbed. She's in the corner. So you're not going to get a whole lot of benefit from that Valkyrie as well.
He is getting there, though. He will eventually reach that point.
I actually really, really like Rebel Graves because that's a way to get the Rebel buff and also just give yourself a tankier front line with an ultra tanky shielded Graves. High damage too.
Graves is a 3-star, so
Yeah,
unfortunately,
that's
I
that.
thought that was not that bad. I thought that would have been way worse for Crowan, and he's actually able to finish off a good amount of the units.
Well, Solus took a lot of AoE damage as well before getting to heal up, and Solus actually on the verge of possibly hitting pretty high in this game. He just hit Xerath too, which is a massive upgrade. And are we going to see double static Shiv Misfortune? Looks likely actually.
Yeah, the games are really close right now. Milk and Huya down to 2 HP.
Right. So
Huya
Shendu, the
wins.
person with the most HP by a bit in the lobby. Static Shiv getting picked up there. All right, so how does Crowan stay alive here? Shen 3 picked up by Delicious Milk, by the way. Kale 2. So lots of good pickups being found by Crowan. Still missing that MF2, though. And so the fact that he doesn't have a Misfortune 2 and he does not have a Cho'Gath 2 means that this comp is probably going to bottom out right about now. Oh man, Demo Spec Kaiser coming in. So the tricky part is that Crowan may actually end up in the bottom. He could even finish 7th if this goes very poorly. I think at 18 HP he lives. No, he doesn't. Oh no, he's dead and he goes out in 7th. Oh, that is disastrous for Crowan.
That's going to make
doing so well.
Tiebreakers, which means he has exactly 63 points, I believe, which will tied with Becca, and this is going to come down to a lot of the tiebreakers.
Right. So he is tied, like you mentioned, with Becca. Let's look at Crowan really fast. Crowan does have 2 level 1s. Becca, or 2 first place finishes. Becca has a first place finish from last night, and I feel like she got one from tonight. She did. So I think that means Crowan is double checking. Crowan is 1 ahead in first place finishes, which I believe is the first tiebreaker. So depending on because there's a situation where neither of them get in the top 8 now. But man, what a disaster for Crowan. That is so rough. Solus getting knocked out at 5th. Already on the outside looking in anyway. So, that's not the biggest result. But Kyun, check this out. The mech infiltrator extraordinaire himself may actually just sneak into this top 8. In fact, it's looking very good for him to make it.
Oh, I'm loving Kyun's chat right now. They're calling the tech spy because him knocking out Crowan was very unfortunate for Crowan, and that causes some very tiebreak will likely cause some tiebreaker things to happen. And so yeah, it's just pretty funny. And then he also took out Solus right after. So
yep, eliminating his NA brethren there.
Yeah.
So Shendu, Kyun, and Anye, who we are on board with right now, are the top 3. Delicious Milk holding on at 2 HP. Somebody's gonna die right here, right now, though. And Delicious Milk. Can the Xayah 3 build carry him here? I think, is his Xayah already dead? I think Aurelia got back there and just immediately insta-gibbed the Xayah. Echo 2 is really strong as well. Yeah, and it looks like this is probably the end of the line for Delicious Milk. Although
Shen 3 is
Shen
brawl.
3. What is this? Shen 3 and Fiora getting the
Shen,
win for Delicious Milk. Wow. And Anya eliminated at 4th.
I
And
think
that could end
what
up impacting the overall standings as well, as Anya was at 57.
that puts
Oh
him at
boy.
6 points, tying with the 63-point tiebreaker that there are so many people at
Oh
right now.
no. All right. Well, we'll have to figure all this out after as we look at the final standings after this game. Check it out. Kyun even adds in Void at level 8 here because he has Infiltrator Cho'Gath. Oh, I love this build. Dude, the most fun I've ever had with mech infiltrator is when you make Infiltrator Cho'Gath. It's great watching him jump into the back lines and just like auto attack people and get like a super fast ult.
It's like
This
back
is
when
peak
you
mech right here.
that one. That was really fun. Wow, actually look at this Jarvan. That's a lot of AP.
Yeah, it is. And just like the fact that like you've got Infiltrator Cho'Gath in the back with Void, but man, look at the Xayah go. Delicious Milk trying to stay alive, and Shen is untouchable.
Oh
Kyun
wow.
is gonna
Oh, it is
live. Oh, Kha'Zix 3. What? Void Kha'Zix 3 does it. Insane.
even against Shendu now.
The mech died so fast, but he's actually got a void Kha'Zix 3 carry. I've never seen that before, but look at the items, i.e. Hextech and Rapid Fire Cannon. That is awesome when you add the Void buff in there.
Yeah, with the Void buff, it really seems like that
It's going
Kha'Zix is
crazy.
tearing things apart.
Wow. All right. So,
Look at that Kha'Zix.
Endu
He's
fighting for the
tearing
number 1 here.
apart everything.
Yeah. Kha'Zix carry is real. Oh my gosh, that was not even close. Shendu is dead, and Kyun takes the first place. Kyun's crushed it yesterday and today, by the way.
Yeah, I think he did a really good job with it, like taking advantage of his Kha'Zix 3 very, very well.
Kyun 1441 in terms of placements on the day. That is one of the strongest days anyone has had in the entire tournament. So props to Kyun for skyrocketing his way, no doubt, into the top 8. But we have to look at the scores because I honestly have no idea how this ended up overall. I'm terrible at math, and I just want to see the overall standings and then figure out what the tiebreaker situations are, if we have any.
As far as I know, we have 4 people with 63 points. And so that tiebreaker is going to largely be based upon who actually got the most first place games. And then it
Right.
goes down to the average, your average placements.
Kyun 32 points. That's crazy. And remember how I talked about like 20 points is like a good night? Well, there are 5 people with more than 20 points or 20 points or more in this lobby. So just some real consistent performers tonight.
Yeah, definitely a lot of consistent performances. Unfortunately for T2X, Milk, and Solus, they do all fall short
Yep.
of contention for the finals. And so looking at our tiebreakers here, we've got Becca, Crowan, Huya, and Anya tied for the top 8 right here.
So
And
because of the way tiebreakers work, the first tiebreaker is number of first places. So we could actually, I wonder if we can actually just determine it like that. I'm not the one deciding this. Obviously, we have tournament organizers doing that. But if you have like 2 people with, 3 first places and 2 people with 2 first places, it would make sense that the 2 people with the 3 first places would get in, and then you would just end the tiebreakers there because that would cut things off probably. But then you would still have 2. I don't know. Greater minds than me.
I don't
We
I
can
don't
figure
think
this out.
we really need to.
So here's the thing. Because there's a 4-way tie and we have multiple tiebreaker methods, we're going to take a quick 5-minute break, guys. We want to make absolutely sure that everything is correct before we tell you who gets into the top 8. But there's a lot of stuff to deduce here. So I can't wait to see who makes it in. It's going to come down to the wire. We didn't know it was going to come down to the wire this much, but that last set of games was crazy. So don't go anywhere. 5-minute break. We'll come back and we'll find out who actually makes it into the top 8 for tomorrow. It's going to be awesome. And we're back with a little bit of, I would say, like like after show, sort of post match analysis kind of stuff for Starside Invitational here at DoA and Yuuj with you to reveal who the players will be that make it to the top 8 lobby. We know, and now you're about to find out right now. Check it out. It is going to be Crowan, Huya, and Becca making it into the top 8 by virtue of more first place. Anya, while playing well, never ended up getting a first place, and so was out compared to the other 3, basically, that did achieve that benchmark in the first tiebreaker. So there's a top 8, and we ended up with a pretty even pairing overall. 5 from NA, 3 from China, I believe, if I am counting that correctly. Shendu, Honglian, and Huye make it in from China. And then we have Ine, Kiyun, Karam, Crowan, and Becca from NA. But Shendu stands atop the mountain as a number 1 player in points by a good margin. 5 points is a lot, actually, guys. So really kind of showing that he is the player to beat going into tomorrow. But tomorrow's going to be awesome. We reset the numbers, we play 4 lobbies, and we see who takes the win. And it is going to be incredibly exciting because we have got some really excellent players showing a lot of adaptability, showing a lot of mastery over the new meta. The player that stands out to me the most is actually Becca, in terms of someone who has improved so much from day number 1. Day number 1 looking a little bit lost, honestly, as far as like how to tackle the new meta, and then yesterday and today looking really, really good. What's your big takeaway from day 3, Yuuj?
Yeah, dude, definitely. Becca has performed very, very well, considering her performance on day 1 and like today. Just phenomenal difference. She showed a variety of comps. Of course, you can't deny Shendu's overall dominance over the entire tournament. Same with Ine. Ine has been able to consistently play different comps and show that he is very, very good, and just able to pull out results.
Well, the most popular question in Twitch chat these days across multiple streams is, what is your greatest fear, young man? So I'm going to answer that right now as far as my greatest fear going to the finals. I'm afraid that Kiyun is going to win it with Mech Infiltrator, and then we're going to have another tournament won by a Mech Infiltrator only player. Delicious Milk not making it to the top 8. Didn't play only Mech Infiltrator, so it's okay. But Kiyun having a pretty insanely good day. First, fourth, first. Were his results, and so I'm worried. That is my greatest fear right now.
I personally am pretty confident that people aren't going to let him play mech the way he wants to anymore, especially after seeing the way Shendu played some of his games. They were trying to stop his mech as much as possible. Like multiple players, it wasn't just Shendu, but I think as it goes on, people are also going to just realize, hey, we need. It's a lot of what comp should we play to stop this mech? It hasn't been as overpowering as it has been in the past.
It's definitely weaker.
Yeah, it's definitely weaker, and Kiyun barely is scraping through. He has 7 HP left and is able to come back from that low health.
Well, Shendu did kind of show that he's willing to contest the mech. So, because none of the North American players are going to do it. So it's only one of our 3 Chinese players that may be brave enough to take on Kiyun and go mech versus mech. But we'll see what happens. It is going to be an amazing grand finals. This tournament has been so much fun. We have just casted 18 hours of TFT in 3 days, and we're not done yet. Another 4 games tomorrow night, starting at 6 p.m. Pacific, right here on the same stream. Do not miss it. It's going to be some of the best TFT we have seen in the game yet, by far. So definitely watch. Thank you for watching tonight, and we will see you tomorrow for the conclusion of Starside Invitational.